Hey everybody, it's Josh. First of all, thanks so much for listening. Jack and I really hope everyone had a wonderful holidays, a very safe time where everybody got together and hugged their family and say hi to their friends, and maybe a little downtime just for yourself as well. We want to thank everybody for all the support that we've gotten over this past year, and we are really excited to take it into next year. And on that note, Happy New Year, everybody. Also on that note, Jack and I have been traveling for the holidays, as I am sure many of you are, and we're not 100% sure we're going to be able to get a new episode out to you next week. But that's okay, because this one got really long, and I'm making it longer with a little intro. We had a lot of fun talking to our good friend Alex Ford in a familiar format for our episodes, and can't wait for you to hear it. But it did get long, and rather than edit all the conversations down, we just, take your time with it. Spend spend an afternoon with it. And we're not 100% sure we're going to be able to get an episode out to you next week. So, this will be like 2 weeks worth of episodes. And if we can get an episode out, it'll be a bonus. So thanks so much for all the support again. Happy New Year, happy holidays, and we wish you all the best. Welcome to The Long List, a podcast that celebrates movies and other pop culture through the storied art of rankings. There are no wrong answers, there are no bad opinions, and hot takes are always encouraged. I'm Josh Muller. With me as always is my brother Jack Muller, and today joining us is our very good friend Alex Ford. And this episode is all about movie adaptations. Alex, thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Yeah, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're very excited. Why don't you give us, the quick 90 seconds on how we know each other?
Yeah, so we met back in the golden days of 2012.
Yeah. Three kids on both of our parts.
Very pre-kids.
Yeah.
Well, not so much for you.
No, not very on my part.
But I just started dating Jason, who was very good friends of both you and Becky, had worked at several restaurants with both of you, lived basically down the block, and we had met and just kind of kicked it off, and now we're all still friends.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I've told you this before, but we liked you from the start. We were like, this is the one. Put a ring on it. This is it. So anyway, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, very excited.
If you would like to reach out to the Long List podcast, we have an email, thelonglistpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear any suggestions, comments, questions, concerns, whatever you want. Just to shout. Say what's up.
Jack, a hot take, perchance.
They're welcome, always.
Yes, encouraged.
Jack, what's happening?
What's up? Chilling. Thanks for having me in your household today.
Are you done with your Christmas shopping? I guess this is going out after Christmas.
Yeah.
How'd you do with your Christmas shopping?
Pretty good. I still got a couple little things here and there, but that's fine. Yeah. Sometimes I like to leave things up until the last moment.
A little spontaneity, a little adrenaline rush.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Just addicted to it at this point.
Yeah, right. It's a rush. So we're doing adaptations today. And this format we're returning to, we all brought 5 movies to the table. We all know each other's movies in advance, so there's not going to be any surprises in this room. And that way we don't have any repeats. And a couple point of order notes. This is adaptations. You can adapt from anything. Most people think book adaptations. We're choosing, whatever you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go nuts. And I'm just speaking for myself here. These aren't necessarily my favorites, but they're ones that I thought were interesting. And I obviously didn't want to talk about things that I've, like we have a whole episode on The Godfather. Had we not had a Godfather episode, that would probably make my list because it's a great book and I love the movie. So there, at least from my point of view, there's a couple of intentional, reworkings or, maneuvers, I guess.
Yeah.
In that regard.
This was also Alex's idea.
To do that next on my list. Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's fine. No, it's natural. It's great. Continue your line of questioning.
Well, I wasn't involved in the conversation, but you posed what would you want to do.
Well, yeah, you came up with a few ideas, but this one was like, I don't know, second or third, and you're like, what about this? I was like, that's a great idea. It's a really cool way to talk about different movies that we like from an angle of a different medium that it's being adapted from, and why we like certain movies, and
to get a little creative with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what appealed to you about this topic?
Yeah, so I think I was kind of borrowing from some past, I guess, homework. When I was an English teacher, I would deliberately kind of seek out adaptation, like works that had been adapted. It's a very easy hook to get like kids interested in what they're reading, especially if you tell them like, oh, and then we're going to watch
totally.
this. And it's also like, especially when I was teaching like ninth graders, one of the big things you have to teach them is like, oh, you compare and contrast, analyze this, draw some conclusions, come up with an opinion. Like, did they do a good job with these changes? Why do you think they made? And so like, it was kind of like my go-to when I was also like sussing out like where the kids were and, like writing. So I just kind of got exposed to a lot of different adaptations. And I also just think it's very interesting. Very interesting topic. And I think people have a lot of opinions about it.
I certainly do. I think it's really cool. And those are the things that I'm going to get to at least one of them today, where I was assigned to read this in class and then eventually watch the movie. And I mean, seeing different interpretations of the same story, to me is very interesting.
There's also some history there, right? Because movies, cinema is such a young art in a lot of ways. I feel like a lot of early cinema was like just adapted straight from plays, adapted from novels, adapted from. So there is like, I was talking with someone about like, oh yeah, they're like, everything feels like it's coming from something else. And you could really like, it's really hard to narrow down or even think of something that's like, oh, a movie that's completely original.
And that's a huge kind of part of the conversation of what goes on today when we're entering this world of IP and things are constantly being reformatted. Oh, they just did this. It's this movie, but they tweaked one thing, which is fine, whatever. But yeah, original ideas, not always hard to come by.
And they're getting abstract with it to the point. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like
true.
Barbie, which isn't on any of our lists, which is an adaptation, but is of a
property
world,
one
of
a label,
of a toy, essentially of a toy.
Well, that was an interesting one because I'm pretty sure that got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay that year, and it's like is it adapted? It's not adapted from a story. It's adapted
from the world, but also like Lego Batman, something like that. That's double adaptation right there.
Because it's a Lego property and a Batman property? Didn't make my list.
No, I know. We know our list, so I'm okay bringing up these movies.
What makes a good adaptation?
It depends. I like abstract adaptations of simpler pieces of media. If it works, they're not all good, but kind of what we were just talking about. / more might come up earlier, both in my list and Alex's. I like direct adaptations.
Yeah.
But that seems rare, I guess, successfully. I also am not as book read as you two. I'm gonna
and I'm not as book read as Alex
right now. But like something like Little Women, the new one, where the first movie was a pretty, as far as I know, direct adaptation of the book.
Pretty straightforward.
And then the second movie, they did it non-linearly. Worked a lot.
Who had 7 minutes into the podcast where we bring up Little Women again?
Yeah, somebody out there.
You get a free drink at the bar.
But it's the perfect example. You're right. I like that sort of adaptation. Do it justice. Put your little twist on it that makes sense for a movie.
I think that's the big.
Yeah, I guess that's the big one.
That's the big thing. We're not talking about The Shining today either. That's a very famous adaptation where the movie works and people really love it and it's a classic. But Stephen King does not like the movie because it really differs from the book. And I don't know, that kind of bleeds into my next question. Like, does that matter to you guys? Alex, does that matter to you?
No, absolutely not.
I 100% agree. They're different media, you know?
And it's also like, why are you adapting it if you're not going to add anything or change it or interpret it through the lens of like the current time or culture or, whatever. It's just, I would just read the book. I would just read The Shining if you weren't going to, if you're going to adapt it, word for word.
Right.
I also think, authors aren't, or like the people who are directly involved with the first product aren't necessarily the best judges of the adaptations because how can you not be so precious about this thing that you spend so much time working on changing in the hands of another.
Right.
But it's also like, the author's dead. Sorry, once you put it out there, it belongs to other people.
True. Well, true.
Gotta let it go.
I also,
and even if they're not dead, You know, it's just like
No, I mean, sorry. Like the
I think she
concept
meant-
of the author being
I think she
dead,
meant
where it's like-
figuratively dead.
Yeah.
got it.
I tripped up on that a second too.
No,
I was
no.
like, well, Stephen King's
You're
still
like,
alive.
Stephen King is very alive, famously alive.
Yeah,
But also,
he's
it's
on
like
Twitter all over the place.
These authors just, you know, they sold their content. You know, they agreed to
Right.
it. It's not going to
Yeah.
just happen.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
as soon
So
as you
just
hand the rights over to something and then the director picks it up, in my opinion, it's now that director's piece of work. Not the original property, of course, but like, you know, they're going to put their stamp on it. They're doing their movie. It's a different medium.
it's a it's a movie.
Yeah, it's
right.
different.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of money is about to be spent on it. Too.
Yeah. I mean, there are very few, I would say even books that are short enough to be correctly adapted into a movie. It's a different format. So,
So I
you're
would
going to have to
say
cut something out.
This is probably my hot take, which is
Oh.
I don't think books are a great well for movies to draw on.
Mm.
In fact, I was surprised that 2 books made my list when I think that things like short stories, novellas, plays, they make a lot more sense. I
And
think
very famously, in the guy that we're talking about, Stephen King, a lot of the quote unquote best Stephen King adaptations are all his novellas rather than his novels.
right.
So
Yeah. So it's like I think books make more sense for like a television like adaptation or a miniseries or a
Yeah.
limited series. But
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
I just don't think movies and I also just think functionally movies are doing a different thing than books are.
I do too.
Like I think books are for like there's like a richness and a space and a depth where you can like build these very elaborate, like you don't have to be so focused. Whereas like a movie is a lot more like a short story where it's like I've got you for 2 hours or I've got you for 50 pages and I need to keep your attention. I'm usually focused on one idea or one narrative arc, you know. So I also am a big believer in the 90-minute movie. Let's bring that back.
I'm with you.
I'm with
Respect
you
my
too.
time.
Right.
Well-
no more 2.5-hour movies.
I
You have
mean-
to really justify it for me.
I do like 2.5 hour long movies when they hit, but when they don't, it's like, what are we doing?
Why is it? Get an editor.
Yeah, we could have cut 20 minutes out of this. Jay Kelly, I just watched, and I was like, this could have been shorter.
I think like 70% of the movies I've seen the last 5 years have been like, this would be great if it was 15 to 30 minutes shorter.
Yeah, I
It's getting
don't
out of hand
disagree.
sometimes.
Yeah,
I blame it on Marvel. That's my second hot take. Coming out with them fast.
that's fine. We're supportive of that.
What, the Marvel movies got long?
And so they like made it, they like created the expectation that like, where I think like even back in the 90s, something like Titanic being so long, it made it like, this is a huge event. This movie is so long.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
this incredible. Like,
And now every movie's that length.
and now every movie does. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why? We don't
Yeah.
need this. Bring back the 90-minute movie.
Totally
James
agree.
Cameron, we need you. This is a call for help.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen the new Avatar though.
That's true.
Ugh. Those movies get long too. So,
So
have
far,
you seen the?
no. So
Have you
far, it
seen it?
sounds like that is
Is a big thing.
the big thing of this one.
I do like James Cameron movies though.
Yeah.
When's the James Cameron episode?
Ooh, I will be tuning in.
It's gonna be rich. That's a double one.
That's
probably.
a double pod. All right. Next question. You're reading a book, or playing a video game, or watching a show, and you fall in love with it. Yes. And then you find out they're making a movie about it. How does that change your perception of said movie or your anticipation even?
If it's a book, I don't care. Like I'm down.
No, yeah, but how do you... Are you like excited for it?
Yeah.
Are you afraid they're going to
Yeah,
ruin it?
If it's
Are
a
they-
book, like if it's a, I mean, I don't have a.
You don't
big
play
space
video
for-
games.
No, but like if I hear about that, I'm not as. I'm like, all right, can they do this? Are they really going to make a movie out of this
Very,
video
very
game or whatever?
few good video game movies.
Yeah.
But a book, I'm always reading a book thinking about the movie version, which is
Yeah.
one of my big flaws of reading books, honestly. But
Interesting.
you know, like it's actively happening in my head that is occurring. So
The movie screen is in your brain.
very much so.
Yeah.
So if I were to hear about that, I'd be like, sure, let's see it.
Yeah. Right. Wow. So, but what if they screw it up or they change a bunch?
They probably will.
They probably will. Yeah.
Probably will.
Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, they fucked up. They just wasted a lot of money.
Yeah.
Bad job by them, which is bad. I don't know. But like, I'm not going to I don't know if it really retracts from my,
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think remaking movies is my biggest thing that I am not happy about when I hear about.
Yeah.
As far as adapting things,
Right.
if you're adapting a movie, I'm immediately like,
Yeah, we have an unofficial list in our heads of movies that shouldn't be touched. At least I do. Mm-hmm. And then, if you remake a movie, it's just it better be good, I guess. If you're going to do it.
Well, I think part of the problem is most people want to remake very popular, very well-loved movies because they want the guaranteed audience. But it's those aren't the movies that need to be find movies where maybe the concept is really good or the story was really good.
Cool idea, but they fell short.
Miscast it, or there was something the producers came in and they messed it all. There are so many movies out there that could use a fresh coat of paint.
This would be good in modern times.
Great. Oh yeah, now now it's 50 years later we'd be able to tell or pull out these queer undertones and make them more center stage, or we talk about race in a completely different way. How would that remake? But they don't want to do that. They want to do the one.
And when they do that, they're successful usually.
Yeah.
Do something
they're
interesting.
out there.
They are out there.
Do we have any remakes on the list? Did we use that lens for adaptation, or were we all doing straight adaptations from another media?
I did straight adaptations.
I
as far as
too.
Movies?
Yeah, we didn't pick any. No one picked any remakes as an adaptation.
Might have been the one stipulation we actually made in our group text early on was just let's not do remakes of movies.
Cool. My short-term memory is not good.
I don't really remember if we said that specifically. I did think about it last night. Where I was I could have done Well, you know what I also thought about is I didn't do this, but I thought about maybe I'll do The Fugitive and just go on The Fugitive, because that used to be a show. Same with Mission Impossible, but I haven't seen the old shows, so I didn't really feel comfortable doing that.
That was one of my standards for myself, as I had to be familiar with both properties.
Yeah, I think we all did that.
I think we all did that too. I just really wanted to talk about Mission Impossible.
Yeah,
Jack doesn't want to do that episode,
Save it.
so
no, I'm down.
Just joking.
I like Mission Impossible. I'm just not as learned as you. Haven't kept
isn't there
going.
Isn't there one more that's supposed to? You probably should wait until all of them are out.
No, they're all out.
They're all out. They're done.
Well, I mean,
they're not
quote unquote done, but
they're not going to be done until Tom Cruise dies in a stunt accident.
Right? Yeah.
I will keep going to see them. Let me be perfectly clear. But they
they did officially say that they ended
okay.
They left a little door open.
Oh my god!
But if you
it,
see the movie, you can see where they're intending for this to be the last one. My guess is if they get funding and Tom Cruise's arm doesn't fall off in between the next one. By the way, did you see the new trailer for the Inarritu movie?
Should we take a little aside right now and talk about this?
I'm very happy to. Tom Cruise, our guy, my guy.
Okay.
I don't know on this end of the table.
My guy.
I know.
Okay.
I looked at Alex when I said that. Sorry.
I'm into him. I'm into him as a weirdo. I miss his weirdo acting.
Well.
Okay.
So, he's been doing action movies.
Yeah. I don't care about that. Yeah.
Well, I absolutely care about that. They're all great. But they're one note.
Yeah.
And they don't really... You miss the zippy Tom Cruise from the mid-'90s.
Such a weirdo.
I don't know if we're getting zippy Tom Cruise necessarily, but he's in a teaser trailer for a new Inarritu movie, which Jack and I knew was coming.
Mm-hmm. And didn't know we were about to get a teaser until I went on my phone.
It's called Digger, I think, and it's basically just him. You don't really see his face. It's him with some weird music playing, and he's dancing around with a shovel,
wearing cowboy boots.
First
inside of a warehouse, and you can only see his silhouette.
Yeah.
And first he's in a warehouse, and next he's on a pier on top of
the railing,
dancing around,
interpretive dance.
And I mean, how far did you get into looking at this, paying attention to the details?
Oh no, that was it. I only watched it once.
He has, I believe, white hair and is clearly balding.
I'm in.
See?
He's wearing shorts and cowboy boots. Did we say that?
The best part of Tropic Thunder was seeing Tom Cruise just chew the scenery as the
true.
producer, and he's just in a weird bodysuit and makeup and balding.
Right, that might have been the last one.
It might have been, yeah. And I mean, he used to he worked with Stanley Kubrick. He worked with Cameron Crowe, Rob Reiner, R.I.P. And, he used to just align himself with the good directors. And it was awesome. He worked with Scorsese. Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah.
That's right.
So, and then he just, he's been doing action movies for the last 15, 20 years, admittedly, which I love. Most of them, at least 80% of them. They're really good. Anyway, but I'm happy to get back to weird, quirky Tom Cruise. Let's get him his Oscar.
Oh.
He did win
Got a Lifetime Achievement?
Yeah, I got a Lifetime Achievement thing.
It's not an Oscar, though. It's not the same.
I agree.
He's got a statue.
He's got a statue. I wanted to see him get, supporting,
Apparently it's a comedy. Oh. It's called a comedy of catastrophic proportions is its tagline.
Oh.
And I believe he is playing, the rumors are that he is playing the most powerful man in the world who has created something. I could be messing this up, but maybe created something that
we're going to start the rumors anyway.
Potentially destroys the world, and he is set out to save.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
Huh.
I don't know if on purpose,
saving the world again.
But like
this is what I'm here
ending
for.
the world and is like setting out to like
undo what he's done.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Digger.
Okay.
Color me intrigued. Mm-hmm. Also, one other thing that has nothing to do with this podcast, Jack. On our last episode, we did our top 5 non-holiday movies that could have been holiday movies or whatever. Oh. Spotlight takes place at the very end on Christmas.
Dude.
I know. I've
heard it's a Christmas movie.
I fucked it up. It
takes place with the Catholic Church.
They're literally singing Silent Night in the background of that scene. It was embarrassment. I just want to apologize to everybody at the long list that I didn't take the opportunity to make another Spotlight joke.
Literally the most terrifying Christmas movie you could think of.
Everybody says that movie is super terrifying. It's just an investigation movie.
I'm just saying in terms of Christmas.
I've heard it's a great paperwork movie.
You got to get the whole story.
Don't get Josh started. How do you do this every time?
Have you not seen it?
I haven't seen it. No, I've been saving it for Christmas. I'm going to watch it this. No, I'm serious. Someone told me it's a great Christmas movie.
Well, I got to say, if you're coming up to the cabin, this is only semi a joke, but I never leave home without it. I always bring it up to Twain Hart just in case anybody was like, "What about Spotlight?" It's like, "Don't worry, I got it."
It's here.
Yeah, it's really good. But I don't want to build it up too much because it's like a really understated good.
Okay. No, I'm intrigued.
Some people say it's the 10th best movie of all time.
All right. Are those people in the room with us right now?
Yeah, one of them. I don't remember when I had it. Oh man! All right, let's get. We're getting off track here, Josh. We'll take a quick break. We'll come right back. All right, we're back. Alex, before we get into our list, you actually had your list of 5 movies pretty quickly, if memory serves.
I think that's correct.
What was your process of choosing movies?
So I think I kind of did a range. I was thinking about movies that dealt with adaptations differently. So I do want, I've got one that's like extremely loose adaptation. Like,
sure,
could barely warrant the name. Most people don't even know it's an adaptation.
Right.
And then I did a couple that were a little more direct. I did a couple that were sort of more like freer interpretation through the lens of like the new culture or the new time that we're in.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to do a range, and also there's just all movies that like mean something to me personally.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can say that these are like my absolute favorite movies or I think these are the best adaptations, but like if I had to come up with like which I did have to for this podcast.
And thank you.
A list that I think represent what I look for, I guess, in adaptations.
Yes.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said.
There, I guess that was my problem. Also, that I had to be like familiar and comfortable talking about both the adapted and the adaptee, the movie that it was making the adaptation.
Yeah, Jack,
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah,
pretty on point. For
likewise,
what I was going for.
I mean, these aren't necessarily my favorite movies. In fact, one of them I questionably might not even like very much. We'll get to it when we get to it. But I thought the adaptation of its source material was very cool. And that's kind of where I started. A lot of these movies I really like. And a lot of them, are, like Alex said, are really important to me. But I did want to focus on interesting aspects of the adaptation from the source material. That's how I started it. And then, as I mentioned before, you know, like Jaws could have made the list. Godfather could have made the list. But we've talked about those movies. Little Women could have made the list. But we talk about that's the new Titanic on this podcast where it somehow gets a mention every episode. And rightly so. So, yeah, that's how I started off.
Whenever we do this 5 format where we're telling each other what the 5 is and it's not necessarily what our top 5 is, it's always like a feeling. Like whenever we're making the list, we're just like feeling it out. It's like I'll have something else on there. I'm thinking of another movie. I'm like, this is a more interesting. This is a better one to
it's
talk
a gut
about
feeling.
Right now. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Alex, what is your number 5 adaptation movie?
Ooh, so my number 5, although it continues to be number 1 in my heart, The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. Hell yes.
So this is the one that I mentioned where not a lot of people even know it's an adaptation.
We certainly didn't.
Yes.
I did not until you said that in the text thread. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure. Fast and then I went and Googled it really fast.
What? This is, again, one of those where I think I'm even on the fence about whether it deserves to be on the list because it is a very loose base. Okay, a little bit of background. Movie came out in 2001. It is based on a 1998 article about street racing in New York City. Racer X is the name. I think it was, and from a magazine called Vibe.
I read the article when you sent it to us.
Very good. Very different. Like setting's totally different. They follow this racer through, but it's like very clear that this is sort of like the way that Netflix says, like, based on a true story. It's like, sure it is, I guess. Kind of.
We're just taking the vibes.
Yes.
And throwing in some criminality to it.
Yeah. So big differences, right? There's this shift from the East Coast to the West Coast. Yeah. Which makes sense from like a filming perspective. It's like, how are you going to film drag racing in New York City? Like, it's crazy that it happened in general. Like, crazy that it even took place in, like, I can't imagine it. But so we got the shift. We've got like the addition of this whole like FBI stealing DVD storyline, right?
That came up in another podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Starts off, by movie 11, we are, saving the world for the 5th time. Movie the 1, they're stealing DVDs out of the back of semi trucks.
We love physical media. One of us.
Yeah. One of us, exactly. It's also very, very clearly, I would almost say this is adapted from 2 different stories, which is first of all the article, and second, very clearly Point Break. Like, I definitely just thought this was a Point Break knockoff that got like crazy legs down the line, and it is now an 11 movie series. But like so many of the beats are almost like word for word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Point Break is sick. So,
very sick.
And if you're gonna, it works. If you're gonna like adapt another, pseudo remake movie, super cool. And I think you were starting to say this, that you don't even know if this qualifies. I think this is a really cool representation of a different sort of adaptation.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's kind of why I decided to keep it on the list.
Yeah.
I almost put it on
really
as a joke to be like, I bet you guys didn't even know this was one of those.
Correct.
But then I was like, this is a form of adaptation, taking like a loose kind of idea, taking a vibe, like Jack said, taking like this. We just thought this was cool. And now we're ripping it off and taking it and we're moving it to the West Coast and we're throwing the FBI into it. And
who would have known there would have been 9 sequels after that movie came out,
and a couple of spinoffs. And like I said, I'm actually wearing my Fast and Furious t-shirt to this podcast.
Nice.
Recording. Live my life a quarter mile at a time.
Damn.
This is
Didn't notice.
This is one of 2 Fast and Furious shirts that I have. So
that's great.
Also,
wait, and are you taking shots at Mission Impossible while standing for?
No.
Okay.
It's not because.
All right.
No, I love an action movie. I'm all in for an action movie. I'm just saying I love a weirdo Tom Cruise, and the action movies have taken him away from.
Oh yeah, he's decidedly not weird
purpose.
anymore.
Yeah.
Well, in the movies.
Yeah,
right.
in the movies.
Yes. Very weird outside the
He's
movies.
checking the box in real life. Right. That's why he feels like he can.
The fact that he is acting somewhat like a normal person in these movies is very
That's
impressive.
He
should get an Oscar.
That's what I'm saying. This is clearly not Batman. Okay, 2 questions.
Yeah.
What is your favorite?
Fast 5.
That's what I hear.
Fast 5, I think it's the perfect turning point because it has still, I would say, after that, it gets very unrealistic. It gets very like these people are
in
like,
space. And stuff,
we get to go to space. Even like some of the like they get recruited by like this world crime solving organization to like go do. I was just like, I don't know. They're still like kind of dirtbag criminals in the 5th one, but then they have this sort of like, but also we're going to take down this like despot and we're going to take his money because he stabbed us in the back. Mm-hmm. And that the stunts get really like that. That's where the shift goes, where it's like, you're now dragging a safe down a highway and using that to like spin off. But it's the first one where The Rock is in it.
The Fast 5 is.
Yeah, that's the
and
first.
That's a good thing.
I think he's good for the movies. I think he brings an energy to that. Like it kind of like puts a little nos in the engine, if you know what I mean.
Wow. Very good. Got him. Very good. From the original too.
Yeah. But
I got to be honest. I've only seen the original.
I've seen Tokyo Drift.
Also
maybe I've seen that.
And I think the next one.
Let me rephrase.
I haven't
seen him in a while.
I've seen one sequel that's not Tokyo Drift.
I might have seen one too.
I'm sorry.
We're going to invite you back on the Fast and Furious podcast, but we have to do our research first.
My second question.
Have you seen
How do you feel about Gone in 60 Seconds?
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
go watch it.
I know I should.
Bummer.
I will. It's on my list.
Tough beat.
It's on my very, very long letterbox list. It only gets longer. It never gets shorter.
It's amazing.
It's not that great, but it's also fucking great.
Yeah,
That's Nick Cage,
my
right?
favorite.
Yeah.
I love
my
Nick
favorite
Cage.
car boosting movie.
Yeah.
I love Nick Cage.
I love Nick Cage too. I mean, we're eventually going to do a Nick Cage podcast. He's made
Well, yeah, but
He's made so many movies.
So many
I
movies.
have to do a lot of research
Very
for that one,
prolific.
too.
still pumping them out
Still pumping them out.
in weird ways.
Like 2 or
I just
3
saw a
a
movie
year.
on Netflix that was already out that I think came out either this year or last year that I had
Never heard of. Yeah.
It looked really weird.
Well, he had a lot of financial issues apparently there for a while, so he had to really get back to the grindstone.
Real Brendan Fraser kind of situation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just setting it up and
Catching
knocking him down.
strays.
I love the guy, but like he's very real.
Yeah.
Like I was getting divorced.
Yeah.
And,
Oh well, I think
Let me
Nick
be in the
Cage
whale
is
really
more
fast.
like
ooh.
right.
Channel this.
Yeah, it's working out for him.
Yeah.
I think Nick Cage was more of like he bought like a bunch of dinosaur bones for like millions of dollars and they blew all his money and wears crazy leather
Sounds
cowboy
worth it.
boots. Yeah,
He's a Coppola, man. They're all weirdos.
they are all
Wow.
weirdos.
True.
Coppola also money issues.
Yeah.
But that's just because
Runs
you
in
think
the family. We're family.
we're family, bring it all back. Or like to
Yeah. Fast
and
and Furious.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you were families with the Coppolas, and I'm like, if this is the first time I'm hearing this,
No.
I'm gonna murder both
No,
of you.
we definitely would have flexed that
That would
sooner.
be
It was
great.
just the first time somebody had used the word family since talking about Fast and the
Damn.
Furious, so I had to.
Bring it back. I love it.
Jack, what's your 5th adaptation movie?
Wow.
What?
Couldn't be farther from Fast and the Furious.
That's great.
Studying contrast.
My 5th is The Hours, 2002 film directed by Stephen Daldry, your boy.
Why?
Because he directed Billy Elliot.
Oh my god. Maybe I should watch this movie. I haven't seen this movie.
No. Oh, it's so good.
Wait. The Hours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I had to,
Thank you. I was worried that I was going to be.
No.
No,
Okay,
no.
I know it's a really well liked movie. I'm just not a
Well,
big horror movie guy, and I'm also
You're
not
thinking
a big.
about The Others.
Yeah. The
Which
Hours
is-
is not a horror movie.
The
I
Others
am thinking about the others.
is Nicole Kidman also, but
That's probably where the
that's
connection
probably
is.
where you got tripped
Oh.
up there.
That's absolutely where I got tripped up. I'm tripping, dude. I still haven't seen it,
Right.
but
Clearly. Well, let me tell you about
yeah,
it.
I'm gonna go ahead and just sit this one out.
Honestly,
Good job, everybody.
Becky would love the Hours. You should definitely.
She's maybe seen it.
I would
maybe.
be kind of surprised if she hadn't.
Yeah.
I also don't
Collin.
really like Nicole Kidman too very much.
Well, let me tell you, she's got a prosthetic nose and is pretty much unrecognizable in this movie.
Wait,
which
so is this the one she won the Academy
Yes.
Award for?
Yeah.
Okay, I always thought it was. I didn't even know this was 2 different movies. Welcome to the long list.
Did she get nominated for the others too? She
I don't know, but
I don't know.
I knew she won for the something, and I figured it was the others.
It was The Hours. It's based off of a novel by Michael Cunningham. It's a film about and book about it's an interconnected drama following 3 women across different eras who are linked by Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, one of the 3 people being Virginia Woolf herself writing Mrs. Dalloway. I took a graduate course in my undergraduate studies at SF State with your husband, Jason,
Sure did.
about, the course was about Virginia Woolf. Really awesome experience. Very hard class, but it got me to know Virginia Woolf and was a nice little outlet of growing to appreciate this person, which
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have happened otherwise, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or, at that time in my life in college.
Sure.
I aced it, which I was stoked on.
Nice.
Got an A on all my papers.
All right.
It was pretty dope. It's definitely the youngest person in that class.
That tracks. You want to hear a fun fact about this class?
Yes.
Like
Always.
one of the very first things I ever learned about Jack was that one time he brought an entire bottle of wine in a yellow Nalgene so that you couldn't tell that it was wine and not water. And Jason was like both worried for him and also impressed with the ingenuity. So I think he told me that very soon after I met your brother. Yeah, I've got this younger brother. We took a class together. You won't believe what he did.
Yeah. That story also got brought up on my brother's bachelor party or day out with my dad, where he took all the secondary bachelor party.
Oh, the game.
Yeah, which was a day game, and we were all having drinks, and we came back to the house, and Jason dropped that story.
Okay, good. So they already know because
They
I was
know.
like, wow, if they're gonna listen to this and hear
And-
that story, they're gonna be pissed.
You can
So
always
they
cut
know,
that.
and we're very upset. It did not go well. It was a very awkward,
Didn't go
bad
well.
moment
I figured
in the
that
party.
had to be at least what? I mean, the statute of limitations on
No,
being
no.
a dumbass.
No
in
statute of limitations in our
undergrad.
family.
No, oh no.
I
Okay.
aced the class. That's all I could say. At least I had that. I with flying colors. It was
God, you know how Hemingway always wrote drunk and edited sober?
Yeah,
like
if
that.
I had gotten 1B in that class, I would have been in even significantly more trouble. But now it's...
Hey, the proof is in the pudding. I got an A.
Anyways. Mrs. Dalloway was my favorite of her novels.
Oh, it's so good.
It's really good. So our final paper, I don't remember exactly what it was. It was either you could kind of pick what you wanted to write about, or it was a comparison of one of her works to another piece of literature. I was a film major.
Yeah.
Really only knew about The Hours, the movie, and not too much of the book.
Yeah.
But hadn't seen the movie.
I didn't even know about the movie, apparently.
Right. But hadn't seen the movie and presented the idea of doing the movie versus Mrs. Dalloway, essentially. And she was like, you got to do the book, and you can talk about the movie too, but it's got to be literature because this is a literature class, but you can talk about, but read the book.
Love that.
Which I did, and
Makes sense.
watched the movie, and it was good. It was awesome. It was really great to see the difference, the adaptations. So this selection isn't really about like almost a movie being adapted from a book. It's more of the concept of the novel being adapted from Mrs. Dalloway, which is really fascinating to me because each story is like a single day in the life, like Mrs. Dalloway is. It's a female character coming at an intersection of her life.
Yep.
All of them are depressed, essentially, but like, for different reasons, and kind of overcoming that or not overcoming that, or trying to come to grips with these things. The first is Nicole Kidman as Virginia Woolf in like the 1920s, the day she's like having this epiphany of writing this story. The second is Julianne Moore in the 1950s as like a housewife who hates her life, essentially.
Right.
And then ends up reading Mrs. Dalloway, spoiler, to like kind of help her overcome things.
Right.
And the third is Meryl Streep, and it's kind of the most that is like the story of Mrs. Dalloway.
Right.
Mrs. Dalloway is like preparing for a party later that night, and in all of these stories, that's essentially kind of happening. But Meryl Streep's is like really preparing for a party, and it's a really good movie. It's an incredible book.
I haven't read the book. I'm now very interested in it. The movie is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
The shot of Julianne Moore lying in the hotel bed, and then the water just like pouring in, and like especially knowing like what happens to Virginia Woolf and how she chooses to end her own life.
Yeah.
I was just like, I still think about it. Like, it was a breathtaking shot. And again, like one of those like, oh, this is such a powerful, like, and I haven't read the original book, but like I have read Mrs. Dalloway. Right. And so it's just like, this is like a very cool thing that adaptations can do, is like bring this like a movie.
A triple adaptation or whatever is going on. Because they do, I did, rewatching it, The Hours, I was like, I know there's other parts of Virginia Woolf here too as well.
Right. Yeah.
But I couldn't really place them. But I know that,
Yeah.
Well, she, a lot of the themes that she's dealing with in Mrs. Dalloway, like, are, threaded throughout most of her works. Yeah.
The other thing I want to say as far as the adaptation from the movie to the book is the book is really well paced. It's like shorter chapters, which keeps you reading. And the movie is very much like, they go between a lot of the stories for certain parts and then slam down on one of them, and then you get like a really long scene of two actors just absolutely cooking, and you're just there for a long period of time, and then it kind of picks back up and you like go back and forth, and then it happens again. It's cool.
Very cool.
It does a good job of
structurally. It handles it really well. I'm not always a fan of like the switching between narratives and perspectives. Sometimes I think that can hide a lot of like bad storytelling or like bad, like, I think they can hide a lot of sins. Yeah. But I think I really love what they do with it in The Hours.
Yeah, you don't want it to feel like a gimmick.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Or it just makes it easy to keep things from the audience.
Yeah.
Like if that's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But
I don't like that either.
Yeah.
It's like
poor storytelling.
Why not just tell us that right now?
Yeah. Or keep it from us in an interesting way, not just like constantly switch character perspective. Right. Yeah. But
agreed.
Yes.
I definitely
stamp my approval on everything you said about this specific adaptation.
Thanks, John.
All right, my number 5 is Watchmen from 2009, directed by Zack Snyder and based on the iconic late 80s comic series / graphic novel written by Alan Moore and illustrated by Dave Gibbons. It stars Malin Ackerman, Billy Crudup, Matthew Good, Carla Gugino, Jackie Early. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Jackie Earl Haley, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and Patrick Wilson. So not a ton of big stars, but some definitely faces you'll
Jeffrey
recognize.
Dean Morgan is a star in my heart.
Well,
You
he's
also said Patrick Wilson last. I feel like he's one of the bigger parts of that movie.
I just copied and pasted it from Wikipedia.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I didn't choose the order.
God.
It's more of an ensemble.
How could you
and
do that to
Patrick
Patrick Wilson?
My guy.
Dean Morgan or Jeffrey Dean Morgan too, like not a star at this time.
That's true. That's a good point.
Because he became a star later with shows, right? Like with Walking Dead and
Supernatural.
Yeah. I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think. I mean, Walking Dead's been on for 1,000 years, but I still think this predates it. But I don't know. Anyway, this is the one where the movie's fine, I guess. I don't really like this movie that much, but I do think it's a really cool adaptation. It does suffer from some classic Zack Snyder sins in that the first time I watch it, there's like 6 or 7 things that I go, hell yeah, brother. And then, there's a lot of fluff. Yeah, flat.
Yeah.
Like added. I don't usually like saying this, but there's a lot of style over substance. I think that's a pretty lazy way to describe something, but still, I think it fits for a lot of Zack Snyder movies. And that's cool. He's got his own style, and a lot of people really like it. Every time I watch a Zack Snyder movie, I'm like, that was pretty cool. And then I watch it a second time, I'm like, I don't know about that one, actually. And this fits into that bill for me. But I do think there are really cool pieces or really interesting pieces of the adaptation. This was in production hell for like 20 years.
Yeah,
At one point, Terry Gilliam was attached to this movie and called it unfilmable.
Interesting.
So that's pretty cool.
Well, and like the reputation, I believe before this was just like, this is never going to be able to be made into a movie. Nobody's ever.
Yeah, because I mean, it was a fairly well-known comic. Not fairly well. It was a super well-known comic. And, if you know the story, it's just really hard. They go back and forth in time, bunch of characters, a lot of weird shit happens in this comic. So just
and
hard
there's all
to do.
the newspaper stuff in the comic, which I don't think they do.
I don't think they do that in the movie. No.
Yeah.
A couple of those Snyder sins I was talking about, like I said, very stylized, very masculine, a lot of pacing issues, reworks some of the nuance in the story and just kind of like you said, flattens it out. A lot more violence in the movie and like really graphic violence. Not necessarily a bad thing. Those are a couple of the things that I go, hell yeah, to. But it's not as prevalent in the book. And as we mentioned off mic, there is one ridiculous gratuitous sex scene in the movie, like laughably gratuitous.
God, it went on forever.
Yeah.
Someone trapped in the theater with her mom, going into this movie cold. I was like, well, this is how I die. This is how I go.
Yeah.
And one of us is having a heart attack. Might be me.
And then you had like another hour and a half of that movie, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the actors probably had a heart attack and that movie was going on so long.
Maybe.
True. Maybe not. But a couple decisions that I like that sort of simplified and streamlined the story. They cut out a lot of the backstory from the original versions of the superheroes. There's a lot of extra stuff in there, which of course for a book makes sense. You want a little bit more information, but you got to keep it moving in a movie. They made Rorschach the sort of main character of the movie, which I don't think they did totally successfully, but I like the idea of sort of having a central figure through which to sort of let everything of the rest of the story roll off of, because there's a lot of characters in this movie and you kind of gotta
and the payoff of the comic gets him there, like kind of at the end of the comic you're like, oh, Rorschach was kind of like the
he was kind of
you don't know
that during the story.
So it made sense to kind of like expedite things.
And I actually prefer the ending of the movie to the comic, so I'm going to talk about the endings to both. So if you don't want to hear the ending to a 40-year-old comic or a 30-ish, 25-ish year old, 20-ish year old movie, fast forward 2 minutes. But in the comic, Ozymandias is like the main smartest superhero guy.
Right.
And he has a plan to unite the ever quarreling countries of the world by creating a fake alien squid to invade Manhattan and destroy Manhattan, and then they will all unite behind,
to fight off the
threat.
Yeah.
Which is cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then there was also a television show that sort of adapted that part of it, which was fun. But anyway, in the movie, Ozymandias, instead of doing that, sets off like nuclear power plants all around the world that mimic the energy output of Dr. Manhattan. So people think Dr. Manhattan was the evil thing, causing all this destruction. And therefore would unite in power to fight Dr. Manhattan or that perceived threat. And I actually think that's a more nuanced and interesting story. And then when Dr. Manhattan finds out about that, he was actually like, yeah, good point. This will work. And like decided to go along with it because they can't do anything to him anyway. He's like all powerful being. He'll just go build clocks on Mars for a while. But I just always appreciated that ending a little bit more. And then Rorschach is the one that like leaves the secret station at the end of the movie in the snow and is like going to go tell everybody. And Dr. Manhattan is the one that stops him, even though it wasn't his plan and he's going along with it, seeing the seeing the, the correct perception of what that plan will do, thinking it will work, and stops Rorschach by killing him, which I always thought was a more interesting ending. So that's kind of the reason why I chose this. I think that's a hot take for a lot of people out there, especially if you love the comics. But I think that's a more interesting ending than the giant squid thing.
Yeah, I just like thinking of. I'm pretty sure I saw this movie before I read the comic, honestly. Which I think I saw the movie. I was like, I need to read this comic, so it wasn't too long there afterwards. But I just like imagining somebody like being like, this is a pretty good adaptation. They're kind of fitting a lot into this movie. Can't wait for the giant squid to crush Manhattan at the end. Yeah. And then just not do that. And it's just like, no squid?
No, damn it, no squid?
Which is funny because Snyder is usually like a rule of cool guy. He's like, if I think that's cool, then I will do it. I don't care if it makes sense or not.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like he would be compelled by the squid. But I think it is better that he was not.
Right. And there's kind of a factor in the comic that's like, wait, they make it like confusing at first. Mm-hmm. You're like, they kind of like show you it. And you're like, is that a squid crushing Manhattan? And
I haven't read it in a while.
It is. But like, they don't like say that straight up. You're kind of just like, what is going on right now?
Right.
Which maybe he couldn't get that across.
Did you see the HBO show?
I did.
Yeah.
I heard it was very good. I have not seen it.
It was pretty good. And they definitely, the movie, not part of it. They're not. Right. It's just a sequel to it's like a sequel to the book.
Oh,
so all the stuff that happened to the book is what happened
they're in the world afterwards.
Yes.
Okay.
Like
it's
a
really
modern
good.
day.
I can't remember if it was planned for one season and I didn't like the ending, or if it ended and then I heard they weren't going to do a new one and I was like, oh, that sucks.
I don't remember, but I think it's labeled as a limited series, so I think it was just a one thing. And it was cool, but a million people told me it was going to be like the greatest thing ever, and it wasn't for me. It was cool. I liked it.
I think what's interesting to me too, so like it makes sense for the Watchmen to be written in the 80s because like the height of, I guess not the height of like superhero comics, but it's like kind of during like this huge like it's like a crazy time for superhero comics. So to write and publish this like anti-superhero kind of graphic novel
with like
comic.
Cold War implications and Vietnam. Vietnam is a big thing in it too.
Totally, yeah. So it's very interesting, and of course, yeah, like you said, like immediately very successful. Like, but then for the movie to come out like right as comic book movies are kind of getting their leg up, like a year after Iron Man, we kind of know Marvel's doing something, but like no one really knows what yet. No one like the Avengers is still like quite a ways off. It's a very interesting, like the timing of it is very interesting.
I agree.
I remember seeing this for the first time. I think the opening scene made one of my lists of like favorite opening scenes of maybe the 2000s or something. Because I remember getting hooked immediately, being like, holy shit, that was the coolest thing I ever seen.
I remember the trailer was really cool. It was like I don't think I had read the book yet then either, and I saw the trailer and like someone's killing superheroes. Like, that's fucking dope plan to a movie. And then it just veers off into a whole bunch of other things, which is not really that. And I was like kind of bummed. But
well, and that's the good
it's not a bad
that's
movie.
Like the bummer of getting rid of all the backstories is because it's more of like a detective story in the first half of which they do. obviously, in Watchmen, but all the backstories just like make it a little more like you're looking into something.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
This is also Zack Snyder's. This is his first movie after 300.
I believe so.
that
This was-
sounds right.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like 300, like that made such a huge. I feel like every dude under the age of 30 when 300 came out, like it kind of like changed their lives a little, or like just like
For
maybe
sure.
the dudes I was hanging out with.
No,
but-
for sure.
It was
300
definitely
huge.
Yeah.
Watch it in the dorm room 500 times. Movie.
Yes, and I think it's such an interesting follow up to 300. Both of them, because 300 was also a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just an interesting follow up in terms of adaptations.
I would say most of the decisions Zack Snyder's made in his career are interesting for various reasons.
Yeah.
Both derogatory and positive.
Yeah. He made a really cool zombie movie right out of the gate. Is that I think it's called Dawn of the Dead. I think it's that one in the mall. It's really good. Anyway.
Wait.
Then he gets like crazy stylized. You guys are looking at me confused. I'm going to pull it up right now.
Okay, I just didn't
I
realize
don't
it was
know.
Zack Snyder.
I don't know if that's the
So I
one.
feel like that's pretty early. Like Dawn of the Dead is like.
No, it was a remake.
Oh, okay. I think I've only seen the original. I didn't realize there was a remake.
Yeah, Dawn of the Dead, 2004. Pretty good. Then 300 in 2006. Then Watchmen. So you're right. Then did he? Wait, did he direct Legend of the Guardian: Owls of Ga'Hoole?
Hey, he had to get
Yes, he
that.
did.
There you go.
He had to get that holiday house. You know, had to pay his kids were going
I
to
don't know how
private
much
school.
money he made off of Legends of Ga'Hoole.
I kind of like that movie.
Owls of Ga'Hoole.
I saw that movie in theaters.
Sick.
Then Sucker
a twist.
Punch. Not a fan. Then Man of Steel. My opinions have changed.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
I haven't rewatched in a while, but I
Batman
like that
versus
one.
Superman. I think I'm the only one that liked that movie.
Yeah.
And then we
One of one.
We kind
Yeah.
of know what happened from there.
Anyway, Zack Snyder, if you'd like to refute any of these allegations, please reach out to the long list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not taking
Thanks
my
for
calls. Alex, what's your number 4 movie?
Oh, yes. My number 4 movie is Clue.
Hell yes.
Yes.
Yes. Came out in 1985, written and directed by Jonathan Lynn, based on the board game Clue
Yes.
slash Cluedo. So apparently
Whoa.
in North America, only in North America is it known as Clue. Everywhere else it is called Cluedo. Now this
With
is
a D or a
combination
T?
D. Combination of Clue and Ludo, which is the Latin word for to play.
Oh.
And when I looked up, like, well, why was this changed? They were like, Americans didn't get it. And basically, the implication is that we're too dumb to understand Latin.
So it wasn't an American game?
No, so
Yeah,
it was
it was-
developed by a British guy. Apparently,
Makes
while he was kind of
way more sense.
while he was like in lockdown during the Blitz, he was like remembering all these like
Oh.
murder mystery parties he used to go to with his friends and like missing them. He's like wanting to develop like a way to, you know, capture that feeling within a board game, and so made Clue / Cluedo, licensed it to Hasbro. Pretty soon after that, published in America, published kind of all over the place, and very successful. Continues to be, I think, probably one of the more popular board games.
My kids love it.
Yeah, it's Laugh. That's a great game.
I love Clue. I
It's
grew
so
up
good.
loving Clue.
Yeah, it's
The
so
game
fun.
or the movie?
I feel like
Both, but the game first, and then I was like, "There's a movie," and then I was like, "This isn't for me," but I love it.
Especially for kids who cannot hang with Monopoly. I feel like Clue is usually like our refuge.
Yeah, Monopoly
For
is
sure.
fun for like 20 minutes, and then we got like 6 more hours of this?
Yeah.
Good
Oh, yeah.
God.
Well, you know the origin story of Monopoly, right?
No.
Designed by a socialist to show how bad capitalism is, which is why it is so long and so punishing. She was literally like, capitalism sucks. Let me develop a game about it. And everyone was like, this game rocks. I love being a monopolist. I want to be rich. So, and she died penniless because Hasbro cut her out of all of the money that she was owed.
All comes
Jeez,
back
way to
around.
bring the pod down.
Sorry.
When I was in high school, I had like a movie based off of Monopoly developed in my head. It was like about like
Well,
an
I
evil
think that's a
Monopoly man.
good dovetail into the fact that there's just not a lot of board games developed into movies. I was trying to think of other
Mousetrap.
ones. Mousetrap. Technically, there is a Battleship movie starring Rihanna.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
not seen it. Cannot speak to it. I did not find it interesting enough to watch.
Heard it was kind of good.
Okay.
That's just what I heard.
None of us know. We'll all
We'll
get
never know.
I'll let you know tomorrow.
No way to know. But yeah, I couldn't think of any others.
Put me on the spot.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of anything
Well,
else.
and again, it like makes sense. It's
Searching for Bobby Fischer?
Nice.
Was that a game?
It's a chess game.
I'm sure.
It's a chess movie.
Oh, right. Well, we can't talk about chess. Chess isn't a board game. Chess is a strategy game that's played on a board.
Okay. I guess
take.
we'll allow
Hot
that
that.
might be a hotter
hot
take
take
than
number
whatever
3.
the first one was. I can't even remember the first one anymore.
Yes, but I think it makes sense because, like, obviously most board games don't have a strong narrative thrust. Like, you might have like a concept, like you are trying to win territory, you are trying to create the longest road and have the most sheep, but there's not
Sure.
really like
Yeah.
it's Clue has like
Characters
character names
and places.
but even that's just kind of the container, right? There's all you have is there's a dead body. You're trying to figure out who did it. It might be someone else in this room, or it might not be. Who knows?
It could be in the ballroom.
Could be in the ballroom with the wrench. So Clue, one of the reasons I picked it because I love it. It's very funny. It's a great masterclass in
Movie's
comedic
great. So
timing.
good.
Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd. I'm just great. Leslie Ann Warren, love her. Very, very funny. But I think one of the reasons I picked it was because of the 3 different endings.
Yeah.
So what I didn't realize when I first watched it was
Controversial.
like it got sent out to different theaters with different endings. It wasn't like on the DVD where you watch them like
Wow.
one after the other. It's literally the movies.
I don't think I knew that.
So people would come out of
know
the
that.
theaters and they'd talk to their friends who saw it at a different theater and they would have different endings.
Wow.
Okay.
That is epic. I love
Okay.
it so much more now.
Isn't that sick?
I famously hate the ending of Clue because of the 3 endings.
Yeah.
I love it now. That is awesome.
That
That's
is
the coolest
epic.
thing I've ever heard.
And of course, it's like when you're thinking about like structurally, how do you adapt a board game to a movie? Like that is an incredible like kind of wink or nod to the fact that like, oh yeah,
Yes.
every time you play, you get a different ending.
That's so
there's,
great.
There's only so many things about that movie that do actually relate
Right,
to the game.
yes.
There's like character name. Oh, I don't want to step
Base.
on your.
No. Go ahead.
But
go
there's
ahead,
like
go ahead.
character names. There's like the 3 different endings, which makes total sense because you could literally play this game like 3 times in a sitting, so you'd get 3 different endings.
Right.
And them running from room to room,
Yes.
jokingly, is like very much like you're, that's the
Yeah.
game,
Yeah.
essentially.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Neither do
It's
I.
very fun.
Oh, I love it. Well, I did. I'm assuming I still would.
I think you so will.
Well, excuse me. That one was done a lot. I also brought that up, I think, on our first podcast because this was chosen for someone's 1985 top 5 movie,
Yeah.
and I like mentioned that moment, and you were like, I don't really know what you're talking about right now. I think. Also, I don't remember Christopher Lloyd being in that movie.
Yeah, he plays Professor Plum.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I remember Michael McKean at the end, who's like
Yes.
the people think he's gay the whole time. And I remember at the very end, he goes, I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife. It always made me laugh. Oh, Jack, what's your
Good
number 4
selection,
movie?
Alex.
Really good selection. And very creative.
My number 4. Wow, this is actually very apropos. Ours, well, the last time it was opposite. This is very much the same. But my number 4 movie is Jumanji.
Oh, board game.
Board game
Well,
movie, but it was, it became a board
Became
game.
a board game afterwards.
Based off of the book by Chris Van Allsburg. It's directed by Joe Johnston, written by a bunch of people. Doesn't matter. Went through a bunch of different scripts.
It's a big studio movie.
Yeah. I'm going to note on this later. Starring, obviously, Robin Williams, Bonnie Hunt. The kids are Kirsten Dunst. Bradley Pierce, who did some other things,
Yeah.
Jonathan Hyde, our guy.
Oh.
Who's that?
He's in Titanic. And he's in...
the hunter.
Yeah.
And the dad.
David Allen Greer's
And
in
the
that
dad.
movie.
Yeah, he was my next guy.
I'm
my last
sorry.
character, David Allen Greer. He was great.
Sorry. He's great in that movie.
Do I need to talk about it? Everybody knows it out there.
Jumanji's
It's
great.
not that's
We're
crazy.
talking about the original mid-90s one.
Oh,
not
yes,
the-
sorry. Not any of the Jack Black ones.
I forgot that even. I think that clean fell out of my brain.
Oh, yeah.
The 90s one?
No, the Jack Black one. I literally
yeah,
forgot
there's
they
3 of them
remade
now.
them. Oh,
There's a
good
bunch of
God.
them.
Yeah, make millions of dollars every
They're
year.
actually kind of good.
I've never seen them.
We watched the one with the kids, and I was laughing.
I might have seen part of the
Yeah,
first
it's Jack
one.
Black. Come on.
Yeah.
You're going to be laughing.
Yeah.
I was
But
laughing. I never watched the sequels, nor did I watch it again.
I did
I've
not
seen-
realize it was based on a book. I didn't realize there was a book.
Yeah, it's a.
Tell me about the book. Have you read the book?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
yeah,
a-
you said that earlier.
It's like
okay.
a kid's book, like the,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
the Polar
Yeah,
Express.
Polar Express?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same,
Same dude.
author and illustrator.
Oh, shocking. You see the Polar Express.
Zarathustra?
Don't hurt yourself.
It's another one of his books that's kind of like based off of.
Let's stick with the one that she knows.
Well, they made it.
I'm just saying.
They made it into a movie.
I'm just
sorry.
saying.
Oh, wow.
You pivoted really quickly to something you couldn't pronounce.
I'm sorry. It's hard to
We
pronounce.
had her on Polar Express. And then
Okay,
we went to
back
zero.
to Polar Express. Great book. I
He
like
also
Polar
did-
Express more than Jumanji. Jumanji's good.
Yeah.
This is a good. This is very like the movie is.
You like Polar Express the book more than Jumanji the book, yes?
Yeah.
Or okay, that's just want to clarify for
I
the audience.
do not like Polar Express the movie, which I believe we talked about on our last podcast.
We did.
Christmas episode.
That's the one where Tom Hanks plays like all the adult characters.
That is correct.
That's correct.
That was a choice. Did they just run out of money? Did they spend all their money on Tom Hanks? Or like, Mr. Hanks, you will be working. You will
The
show up.
Animation says as much. It
yeah.
seems like children made this.
Oh no.
The children from Polar Express. What was I talking about?
Something about Zarasastra.
No. Nice job. Ooh,
Is that how I don't know if that's
I mean,
right.
way closer than what I got. This is a good one where like this movie is not based off of much of
Right.
the actual book. It's
Kinda
based
just the
off of
concept.
the fact that in the book, kids find a game board in which jungle and all these animals come out of it and stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's not a man who comes out
Nope.
like Robin Williams doesn't come out.
Right,
Who was
okay.
a child
Created for the
that
movie.
lived. Yeah.
Yep.
Considering that, pretty good story
Yeah.
of a
I would
movie
say.
based off of such small material, which was my number one thing I like about
The
adapted things.
expansion. Yeah.
Chris Van Allsburg wrote the first version, quote unquote, of this script.
Way to go, Chris.
But apparently it was super weird.
Yeah,
And
don't
they
doubt it.
kind of just like chopped it up and probably was nothing. But he came up with a lot of he came up kind of with the story of Jumanji the movie as well, based
Okay.
off of his own book. He's credited as story in Jumanji, but not like I believe also credited as based off of a book by Chris Van Allsburg and then story by Chris Van Allsburg.
oh,
For the
okay.
movie.
Yeah, I see what you're
Because
saying.
he kind of came up with it. The studio would only pick it up if they got Robin Williams. Robin Williams said no because he knew he wouldn't be able to improvise that much. They came to term because it was kind of tight and it's like a kid's movie and there's a bunch of computer animation. So like not a lot of
Right.
room for it there. They agreed to so he went on to like agree eventually for some reason. It might be because of this, but he was able to do certain like one scene normal and then one scene improvised with Bonnie Hunt, like pretty much any scene that they were in.
That's cool.
So where a lot of the Robin Williams stuff comes out of. I watched this movie a bunch of times growing up. This
Yeah.
was like
This is a
very
great.
much-
It's up
Yeah.
there with Hook
yeah.
in terms of.
Hookhead.
Look at
I love. I did. Okay.
Yes.
I will say I rewatched it recently and I was like, this is 30 minutes too long.
Well, that's
Oh,
fair.
interesting.
That's fair.
Needs to be some cutting. But
How long is it?
Theme of the podcast.
It's like an hour.
No, it's very. I was like, we still have like 45 minutes.
Yeah,
of
that
this
clocks
movie.
out. There's a
It's
lot of
so
filler
long.
in there. A lot of weird stuff
There's
happens.
a lot of stuff before you get to Neverland.
the
Like,
Julia
we could
Roberts
cut
stuff gets a little weird.
Apparently, it was weird on the set. That's for
Yeah,
the Hook
true.
podcast, though, I guess.
Oh, bring it back. Jumanji, yeah, absolutely rocks. It's just a compelling concept.
Yeah.
Which is why like I definitely like can see it as a children's book of like, hey, imagine you pick this up and then suddenly it's in the world that you are inhabiting. Like it's very like fairy tale-esque.
Right, yeah. And kind of darker. I mean, it's like, he's an
Yeah.
orphan. Or no, he wasn't. And well, he's an orphan now when he comes out of the game, but the two kids are orphans.
Orphaned, right.
He goes in, his parents are alive, comes out, he's an old man or older man.
Right.
Looks like Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ILM, who did the computer animation for this movie, invented 3 new types of processes for computer animation for this film.
I would say it still looks pretty good
Yeah,
from what I
it's pretty good.
remember.
It's
Like
pretty
it's holding up well.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I should get it on
For the
4K if
90s.
they got it.
Maybe
Then
not.
we'll see what maybe keep it VHS.
Also, shout out to the Angelottis who got me a signed version of The Sweetest Fig, which is also a Chris Van Allsburg book years ago.
That's a weird one.
That's a weird one.
The book. The book.
Not
Oh, the shout out.
I
the
don't know if it's
Angelottis
for
are
children.
family friends, and they're
Sorry.
famous
Yes.
for giving gifts of signed copies of things.
Yeah.
Which,
Oh.
if you're listening to this, you don't have to continue doing that. It's so nice of you, and we thank you every time, and you're the best. But as a kid, I got this signed copy of The Sweetest Fig, where it's this guy who eats a how does it? So the fig is like a magical fig that if he eats it, all his dreams come true. So he's a super big time dick, especially to his dog, and he trains himself to imagine that to dream that he's the richest man in the world every night, and then when he's finally confident he does it, he I'm spoiling the sweetest fig here. The dog eats the fig right before he's about to, and then he wakes up as the dog, and the dog is now the owner of the dog. And it's like,
this is for
dark
children.
ending.
Yeah.
We love it. I mean,
I'm trying to see that movie.
Dark endings used to be. I mean, think about Roald Dahl movie or book.
Oh yeah,
Roald
sure.
Dahl was weird
Yeah.
Yes.
and dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I feel
I'm into it.
We need that a little bit.
And it works, and it translates into Jumanji a little bit.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
sure
weird
does.
and dark, my number. What are we on? 4?
4.
Dune. Hell
Yeah.
yes. Hell yes. I'm just combining both movies because
okay.
it's
that's
it's
true.
one.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, directed by Denis Villeneuve, based on the classic sci-fi novel by Frank Herbert. It stars. I'm gonna list off these names. There's a bunch. This is over the course of 2 movies. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Josh Brolin, Javier Bardem, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson, Jason Momoa, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Christopher Walken, Dave Bautista, Léa Seydoux, Charlotte Rampling, and Stellan Skarsgård. I mean, if you're gonna make a movie, get some stars, man.
Gosh.
That's doing it right there. This is a great book, and I really enjoyed it. It's not like one of my favorites necessarily because, there's some pacing issues, and, we're at one place for like 400 pages, and then the end wraps up in like 20 pages.
Real quick.
Stuff like that. But it's awesome, and I really love the book, and it's a classic hero, hero's journey story, and it's just wonderful with like really weird settings and
Stuff.
backgrounds and stuff.
Yeah.
Very
Technology.
creative. I think he was on a lot of drugs while he was writing this book, but we'll just leave that there. Classic big budget Hollywood filmmaking for the movie. Like, this is, I don't know. I love when big budget movies get it right. I don't know how to explain that, but like, if you get all the good movie stars in your movie and you make it look really cool and you nail it with the story, which is the most important part, and it all comes together, that's why I go to the movies. We saw, well, first of all, the first Dune was the first movie I saw after COVID. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go see
Like
this.
in
I read the
theaters?
book. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm going to go see. We had our mask on and everything. And I was excited to see it. I read the book, knew it was coming. I was like, let's go see it. And it just absolutely blew me away.
Yeah.
And it kind of ends on a little bit of an anticlimactic note for a lot of people. Not for yours truly, but it doesn't end with some big thing. And I feel like some people didn't know that this was Dune Part 1. Like, they didn't make that real obvious.
Yeah. That's true.
So it just kind of ends, and you're like, what the hell? I thought it was a perfect ending for the first part of the story. I really liked it. Got me so excited for the next one. And then the next one, Jack and I saw together on IMAX. We were like 4 rows deep. And I was like cheering in the theater. I was having so much fun. It was so incredible. The action is a lot more turned up in the second movie.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's probably a little bit more rewatchable. And
Is that
it's
true?
What?
The action is turned up in the second one?
Yeah, the first one, you're just meeting all the people. You're getting to the world. I mean,
There's
there
more
are some
action, like set
scenes.
pieces. There's a
Yeah.
lot more exposition in the first one,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely action in the first one, but it's the big action set pieces, the Harkonnens taking over the Atreides, but that's like kind of it. And then there's I don't know, they're kind of like running around in the ornithopter in that storm.
Yeah.
But like in the second one, you get them robbing the spice fields with the explosions, and they're coming up out of the sand and killing everybody. And then you get the sandworm riding, where he rides the sandworm for the first time. Then you get the ending where they blow up all the things and it's a big invasion. And
The duel.
the duel, Duel, good movie, by the way. Anyway, I love these movies. These are 2 of my favorite movies of the past 6 or 7 years, and I just can't get enough of them. I can't wait for the third one. They better stick the landing. The third book, actually, this would be the second book, still gets a little weird. I hope they stop there, because the third book gets really weird.
Well, I think it might be. I've heard that they might play around with it a little bit.
Yeah,
I think you kind of have to.
Second and the third.
well, they definitely are. From what I've heard recently, it's gonna be like 15 to 20 years later, which is more than the second book is. And I
But
think
also
the reason
the
they're
first book ends much later
Yeah.
than the movies. I mean, the movies take place over like what, a year?
Yeah,
maybe?
well, the
Whereas,
other
like,
one's
the book
like a
ends.
few
He's got
years.
he's got like kids already. Or
Yeah, the
something.
kids
Like,
I don't know.
or
are
his
the se-
sister's like been born and she's like 6, or it's several years.
There's
since
definitely
the
one
Harkonnens.
kid that they have that dies.
Right. Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I don't know if the other 2 kids are born yet. Sorry if we're spoiling some of the story for you, Jack. Go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna. I have a similar but other thought.
So yeah, I mean, I think they're trying to do certain things for practical reasons. Like in the book, for instance, of the first book, they changed the part where the sister was born in the book and like is born fully functioning, can speak, because the mother's name is escaping me now, but
Jessica.
Jessica. Lady Jessica drinks the water of life, and because she does that while she's pregnant, her child
Baby
in the
comes
womb
out with opinions.
comes out knowing everything. That's a pretty weird thing to do in a movie.
Yeah.
So
and other Dune movies have really stumbled over that weirdness.
Yeah.
Where you get like weird CGI baby, you get like 6-year-old like with weird witch voice. at the
yeah,
end.
it's really weird.
I
Which
mean,
is
well,
why-
how do you adapt them? So I think it was smart just to be like, I'm just not doing that here.
which is part of the reason why I chose it, because
Yeah.
like they made some big changes, but they're practical changes for changing the medium.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough to watch a little kid who's like 1 year old speaking.
Kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's some timeline stuff in the movie. There's some obviously changing big plot points, but I think they're all for the better. And that's how I feel. I love this adaptation.
Have you seen any of the other Dune adaptations?
I
of
have
which
not.
there are multiple.
Multiple?
I know there's a movie. I know there's
There's the
movie-
David Lynch
movie, and I think there was a mini series,
Oh,
like a
there-
sci-fi mini series.
There's right. James McAvoy is in it.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't seen the
it.
miniseries. I've seen parts of the Lynch.
I've seen parts of it on TV, and I was like, "This is really weird." This is before I read the book, and I was
Yeah.
like, "I don't know what's going on." It's
Well,
really
so the story is apparently Lynch basically like spent almost all of his money on like the first hour, and then the studio was like, "Listen, my guy, you will
gotta-
get no more money from
Yeah.
us. You must
Rough.
finish this movie." And so the last like half of the movie is just like pretty bad.
Yeah, and
but the
he
first
hates it.
half of it is great.
Yeah,
Like you can tell, like, oh, this is where the money went. Congratulations.
I mean, I'm gonna see it eventually because we're gonna do a David Lynch episode, and I got a lot of movies to fill out for that. But I just haven't seen it yet. But these ones are fucking awesome.
Yes, these
I
are
will
very,
say,
very good.
I haven't read the Dune books. I'm sorry, but I will say, I'm pretty sure I knew that Dune, the first Dune, was like not necessarily like the end of the book. I believe I knew going
Yeah.
into that. I will say the ending of the second one was way more like, oh, this is how it ends.
Right. It feels like an ending.
No. I meant like,
Oh.
I was like,
Jack was 3 hours in the theater, ready to like see the revolution that was about that
right,
they were
we
going
were
to
talking about the
off-world.
revolution the whole time. It's like leading up to that.
He was like, "I'm ready for another hour."
and then it just
Yeah.
like ends. But I'm like, I guess that makes sense timing wise. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I was just surprised by that part of it, and we are leading somewhere, and then we got like 2 seconds of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, I can see that.
I can see that too, and also they do it differently in the movie, but in the book it ends very quickly,
Very
and you're like,
abruptly.
"What the hell?"
Yeah. And when you told
I've
me
been
that
reading this book for
after
like
seeing the
700 pages.
Yeah. When you told me that after seeing the movie, and then I rewatched, like it doesn't really affect me anymore. But the first time, I was very much like, this wasn't. Really
I
what
was ready for
expecting.
the space war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Hey, Dune 3.
really,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
Space War's probably done by then.
That's true. If we're doing the big time
Don't
leap.
spoil it.
Sorry, no spoilers. Love Dune, love the book, love the movies, and really cool. I guess I didn't talk that much about the difference between the adaptation, but it's mostly just like timing issues.
Right.
You know, when he goes to the south, it's not explicit in the book that the southern members of the
Arrakis.
Fremen are like,
Oh.
you know, really religious or like fanatical or whatever.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's not expressed in the book. There's a couple other things like that, but for the most part, they cut out the fluff. And
Yeah, I would say this is more. The
change
changes
some
were
weird stuff.
definitely more what they took away than what they added, which I
I
think is
agree.
an interest. Like that is a very solid book adaptation strategy where you take away a lot, figure out like what what of the story do I want to tell?
Yeah.
But don't add as much because the book already usually has so much going on.
Yeah, you don't
adding
need a lot
something
more.
in is
Yeah.
usually like doesn't make sense.
And to the point about the Aaliyah, I think her name is, which is Paul's sister.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
that's just so hard to do on film. That just like cut it out and push it down the road. And I don't know how they're going to do it in the third movie. I imagine if it's 15, 20 years later, they'll just have her grown up and then the kids will be weird, I guess, but we'll find out.
We'll find out. I think in the flash forward you get at the end, it's played by What's Her Bucket of
Yeah.
the Alien Eyes.
Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yes, she looks like a baby deer in human form.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, in a great way.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy, if you're listening, look me up. But
I agree. She's got a very interesting look. She's also striking.
very striking.
So
So I assume that she is going to be cast as the sister.
I would
if
assume
she
so, too.
Plays her in the flash forward in the movie.
yeah, I would assume so. But that's probably why they're
He also just seems like a director that like stars want to work with.
yeah.
He's very clear, like, and pretty much like he just draws the big names. So I'm excited to see where he goes with it.
Yeah, and I
also-
wonder if him being good at casting movies came before that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or I mean, being successful filmmaker, obviously, but like all of his movies are really well cast.
Yes.
Even the earlier ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even with stars necessarily, just like, oh,
Or
I
someone doing,
wouldn't
like-
think that this person would be able to do this, and then they do.
Gosh,
Yeah.
who's the I can't remember, Dave Bautista, like him
Yeah.
in
Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner. Yes.
Yeah.
And like I think that was like just brilliant casting. Like
Yeah. He's in it for one scene and he's great.
he's so good, but it's also so against his type that he had
Yeah.
been playing in movies up until that point. And he's like this guy, like this director. I don't want to even attempt the French. I refuse to. Denis. He's the first guy who like gave me a chance to show like another side of myself,
Right.
to show my range. Exactly.
And he's also
Gave
in
him a-
Dune and he's really
And
good.
then-
a bigger
yes,
part in Dune. Yeah.
Exactly.
Earned it.
Yeah. What do you think about Blade Runner 2049?
Loved it.
I loved it too. I think I saw only once a while ago, but can't think of not liking it. You didn't like it.
It's pretty good.
It's long.
I liked it.
It's pretty long.
I think I saw it. I saw it like years after it came out and everyone was like, this is the best movie ever. And I was like,
Were they?
it's pretty good. I loved that scene.
Yes.
And then from there on out,
That's
I
a
was
really
like,
good scene.
we got to
Yeah, I
pick the pace up a
kind
little
of
bit.
don't remember the ending of that movie.
Looks great.
Yeah,
Beautiful movie.
got the Oscar.
I think he uses. I think it's the same cinematographer. I don't know. I think he's
It's
very.
For he switched.
Roger Deakins, I believe, is the
Yeah, he
cinematographer.
switched in Dune 2.
Okay.
He did because he was
They-
doing the Batman.
That's why.
Oh, interesting.
Which was my first post-COVID movie.
Hell yeah, brother. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll finish it up. All right, we're back. Alex,
Yeah.
what's your third movie?
Okay. Let me pull up my list because I'm pretty sure I remember what it is.
I can tell you.
Oh. No, I will say it. No, it's The Long Goodbye.
Hell yes. I love this
Long
movie.
Goodbye. So, movie 1973, directed by Robert Altman,
Our guy.
adapted from the book The Long Goodbye by Raymond Chandler, which came out in 1953. It stars Elliot Gould in probably one of my favorite roles that I've seen him in.
Yeah.
Just incredible. One of my favorite facts of this movie, it has a very, very early, probably one of the first non-his weightlifting movies appearances of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, you
I know.
said that in your notes, and I don't remember who it is. in the-
He's-
My bad.
It's cool.
No.
He's one of the goons
In the
for the,
beginning?
mafia. No, at the
At the
end.
end.
So when he shows up, I can't even know, Sam Spade? No, that's something else. I can't remember the main character's name.
I can't either. Don't worry about
Completely fled my brain.
Oh,
Elliot Gould.
Philip Marlowe.
Phil Marlowe. Yeah. I'm just mixing up my noirs. When Marlowe shows up with the money for the kind of like mafia boss
Yeah.
at the end, or he shows up and then the money shows up
Yeah.
surprisingly. At
He's
the same
one.
time.
He's one of those guys.
Yes, what's crazy is you're watching this movie. It's like it's set in the 70s. At the same time it comes out, which we'll talk about in a second.
Good LA movie.
Great LA movie, and it's all these like
Oh,
kind of
I
lanky.
didn't clock that.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it's very
yeah.
interesting changes. So it's all these like lanky 70s dudes. Like they're all kind of tall and long hair, kind of like raggedy looking. And then Arnold Schwarzenegger looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger, just like it's just a visual like what?
And he's wearing a bright red shirt.
Yes.
And it's like,
he looks weird as hell.
I mean, even if I didn't know he was Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'd be like, who the heck is that guy?
It's
what is he
so
doing here?
visually jarring.
Can't believe I didn't clock that.
I don't know the decision. Like he was probably relatively well known.
I think he was
at the
famous
time
for being him,
bodybuilding,
but I don't think he was really in movies yet.
and he is like the strong, like he grabs them.
Yeah.
So maybe Altman was just like, how great would it be if I just got the biggest person ever to grab this guy? Like, it's crazy.
You know what other movie he wears a bright red shirt in, Jack?
Jingle All the Way.
Probably. I was gonna say Predator, but anyway, in the beginning, he's wearing a polo.
Oh, yeah,
Alex, continue.
So one of the big changes, and if we're talking about with Fast and Furious, there was the geographic shift from East to West Coast. This one is a time shift. So the book takes place at the same time it's published, taking place in the early 50s.
Yeah.
Kind of post-war, suburbia, like all this kind of like sort of corruption that comes with this like excess of money and peacetime and all this sort of stuff. And then in the movie, Altman adapts it to, again, the same time that it's being, created in. And so it's in early 70s. So the vibe is very like that. Having that time change, I think, is very different and very interesting. It definitely like changes the story in some pretty significant ways.
Yeah. I haven't read it, or if I have, it was like sections of it.
Yeah.
But I have read some Raymond Chandler that is very 1950s and like noir.
Yeah.
And I just watched The Long Goodbye for the first time this week. It was the only movie that I hadn't seen, and it just kind of worked at the same time.
Yeah.
While different, I mean, like he was still like, I don't think Philip Marlowe's character changed probably too much.
No, he definitely still feels, I think that he feels like I'm sort of man out of time because of that.
Yes.
Like he definitely, the texture of his character is different from all of the characters around him. And I think think it's done very deliberately.
That's really well said.
And they use, Hollywood and LA,
Yes.
which doesn't change, that the style of the architectural style of the 50s is the same.
Yeah. Right.
And, is the classic LA look is from the 50s.
Yeah. Very vibey movie.
Very vibey.
Very,
and so is the book. The book is extremely hard to follow. And this is, I think, surprising to people who approach like a noir novel or movie looking for basically a detective story where it's like the mystery is going to be very neat. The evidence is going to line up. The detective is going to explain everything at the end and walk you through how he got to it. And that like the whole point of noir or like Pulp Fictions is that like that doesn't happen. Like the world is very broken. Everyone is kind of backstabbing and getting like a piece of theirs. The detective is an anti-hero usually at best. I think this is done really well with the end of the movie where like you really don't expect like Marlowe to do. I'm not going to spoil it just in case.
Came out in 73. Go for it.
All right. So basically Marlowe realizes that he has been like betrayed by his friend, that he's been defending kind of throughout the movie. It's like he wouldn't have done that. I'm going to solve the murder of his wife. He would never have done that.
Yeah.
I helped him escape to Mexico. I got basically blamed for the money that he stole, or at least I'm being held responsible for the money. But like just being loyal to this guy who clearly does, like everyone can kind of tell except for him that he does. It's like this blind spot that he has.
Yeah, it definitely was maybe like hot take for me, like a nitpick or something that didn't. I was just like, from the first moment when his face is scratched and he comes over and he's like acting like a weird guy. Like he doesn't seem like a normal dude.
Yeah.
So it's like, why does he like this guy at all? And his face is scratched and he seems shady. Just totally believes him.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I almost didn't understand. I didn't know if that was part of it, was to be like, oh, is there something I'm missing here? Or
right.
Like,
well, in the book, they are war buddies. They both fought in. I might be misremembering. It was a long time that I read the book, but I remember that they knew each other from the war, whether they fought together or they just knew each other because of the war. And that's like part of the blind spot that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
That makes
him.
sense.
And I think they're also like drinking buddy. Like there's a lot of alcohol. Obviously, if it's a noir movie, there is rampant alcoholism.
Especially my guy Sterling Hayden in that movie.
Yes, there's some great
Super drunk.
Literally the whole plot point. But yeah, I think it's one of those where in a lot of ways, it's kind of a straight adaptation as much as you can with like a book that it says like kind of twisty and confusing deliberately on purpose. But like setting it during the time that you're like again commenting on like sort of the corruption of LA and the like what like all this like gobs of money can kind of do to people.
Yeah.
It's very like post 60s also,
Yes.
Very
like
much
the
so.
end of the hippie era, like everything sucks.
Yeah, like,
it
you
isn't
think
like
about-
yeah.
I think the hippie, like the always like naked women on his like across the
his
way,
neighbors, yeah.
and he's just like,
doesn't even remotely notice one time, but every person who comes by is extremely distracted by it.
ooga,
It's just
ooga.
like, yeah.
and he's like, oh yeah, y'all want some brownies? Like that's part of his cool, right? He's
Yeah.
just like this very unaffected character, which is why like I think the betrayal at the end when he just like he's like, oh you made a fool out of me. I was your patsy.
Yeah.
I was your
Because seemingly throughout the rest of the movie, things don't get to him, and
Yes.
and then this is like the one thing too far.
Yep.
And goes at great lengths to figure out the truth and
Right. It's just determined to be like, I will
Retribution.
figure out, I will clear your, because he thinks also his friend is like faked a suicide. So it's not just that like you're going to be in trouble. He's like, oh, they're tarnishing your name and I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. And then
Yeah.
finding out at the end, like, no, you were using me as a shield this whole time.
Yeah.
And,
Tough beat.
You normally don't see even like the detective might shoot people, but like never like in cold blood. Never
Yeah.
like when his life isn't in danger.
Right.
Like that's usually a line. That
It's always like a
yeah.
defense thing.
Right. Like the anti-hero noir detective will like do violence if he needs to, but it's not kind of his first. But Philip Marlowe's like, not today.
No more.
No more.
reminded me a lot of
great.
The Limey,
Oh.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
which is, like a noir detective, but well, it's not detective, it's like kind of revenge detective.
Well, but even that-
but like certain points of it, like I mean the classic mansion scene,
Yeah.
it just like felt
Yeah.
very, and like the ending on a beach
Yep.
Also a very vibey
with
movie.
a very vibey movie, LA.
It kind of, and honestly, kind of has like a little bit of a Chinatown feel to me too. But they were noir movies right at the same time in LA, actually.
Right. I guess at this point they're
That was a
probably,
period
like,
piece, though.
I don't know if they call it as neo noir yet. They're kind of in
Maybe.
the second wave of noirs
Yeah.
that were sort of like now playing with the conventions of like the 30s and 40s and even 50s noirs. That I
But
think were kind
set
of
at
classic by
contemporary
this
times
point. Yeah.
at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Love
really
Robert
liked
Altman
the
movies.
elevator.
Yeah, the elevator is great.
Yeah.
The elevator is
Yeah.
basically
I
a
was
character.
like, what the heck? What is this? What is this apartment building?
Right?
So cool. How did they find that?
I love his cat who will like only eat one.
Right.
Oh, it's a great cat movie.
It's a great cat
maybe,
movie.
Maybe top cat movies, man. It's incredible.
Top 5 cat movies.
And there was another top 5 that I had, as soon as I saw the scene in the bar, I was like, this is the greatest bar, maybe in anything. Clocking the chips, like you come in the
Yes.
background, it's like fish and chips is one of the menu items. And then there's another sign that says steak and chips. And then there's like a menu on the side that has like all these random things on it. It's awesome.
We got to add that
Sits at
to
the
our
bar.
our
100%.
classic
I don't remember what
bars,
that bar's
the long
called.
goodbye bar.
I also think any detective where he like takes his calls at the bar.
Yes.
And it's
That's
like
what never doesn't work in a movie.
No. It's like
Just
has
the best.
messages waiting for him there.
Yeah.
It's
It's the
insane.
it's like I do not have my own phone. That makes no sense to
I
me.
love it. Jack. Number 3.
Number 3, I have Throne of Blood, which is Akira Kurosawa's 1957 adaptation of Macbeth,
Yes.
Hell yes.
taking place in feudal Japan.
Yeah.
This was very much in debate to go into my top 25. It was
Really?
it was a tough cut.
Really?
It was a tough cut, but it got cut. And that may change in the future. Who knows? But since my college days, I remember being so affected by this movie. It's just, I think the perfect adaptation of Macbeth, for one thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's
yeah.
really great.
Super like terrifying.
Yeah.
Fog covered, which is always a big Jack plus. Anytime fog shows up in a movie, I'm totally sold. And this movie's just
Where are you on the mist?
drenched in fog. I saw it, on TV back in the
Yeah,
day. I
that's
don't
all right.
remember.
It's okay. Weird ending.
Who's the main guy?
I think it's Tom Jane.
Yeah, it is Tom Jane.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Nice. That's
Anyway.
not who I was going to guess.
That could be a different movie, I guess.
Is this post Seven Samurai or is this before? So I can't remember the timeline.
I think This is 1957, right?
Right.
I think that I don't know. That is
That's post.
Post. Okay. I thought Seven Samurai was a little earlier.
Yeah, Seven Samurai is 54. This movie is also really vibey, of course, because I guess that's kind of what Macbeth is. And
yes,
Akira, well, yeah, but I guess Akira Kurosawa uses a lot more visuals to get across a lot of the storytelling, which, of course, William Shakespeare uses words.
Famously.
Different medium.
Yeah, it's very different. And though there are dialogue-heavy scenes, I think a lot of the ghosts and things and feelings are achieved through his visuals, which are awesome.
Especially for 1957.
It's also fun. Macbeth is his shortest tragedy.
And-
So even for one of his works, it is, I would say, like more on the vibes and more on the probably the physical presentation of the play than even the dialogue itself.
Yeah, and this movie is pretty tight. Like, I was actually had to kind of like rethink it out. It's been a little while since I've seen it. And I mean, I know Macbeth, but it's just like, no, yeah, all the moments I remember are the moments of the movie. It just kind of does Macbeth.
Yeah.
The Lady Macbeth is awesome. Incredible performance. Her hand washing scene is just like so scary, a little understated, but just like getting across the vibes that you need. It famously does the forests are moving very well.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's already just such a cool. Shout out to Shakespeare.
100%. One of the coolest
Cool
things
as hell.
ever.
Yeah. It's really
I
good.
can't imagine seeing that live and just being like, oh my God.
The forest is
God.
moving.
He was wrong.
Oh shit. You're in for it now, Macbeth.
Yeah, and then they all just like abandon him, and we have to talk about the arrow shooting scene at the end. Oh my God, it's like 1,000 arrows being shot at that guy.
Right.
It just like constantly. That scene lasts for like 6 minutes.
Right, which is the end. Like, so they cut out like the sword fight essentially from the Macbeth story,
right?
And they kind of combine the forest moving with the arrows at the end. The arrows at the end are kind of like the sword fight.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Essentially.
But it's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's super cool.
There's like a million arrows at this guy. He's like covered in arrows at the end.
Still kind of going.
And
for
he's
a
like,
while.
it's. I gotta say, I loved it, but the
You didn't
arrows.
buy too many arrows.
No. I just like I can't believe they went there. It lasts for like a long time, and he's running back and forth, and all of a sudden the wall gets spread. First of all, bad job by the archers. Like,
Come on,
he's
one
right
dude.
there. It's one guy. There's
Maybe
like
because
1,000 of you.
Lock
Maybe
in.
because it's a smaller target, it's harder to do.
That's
or
true.
something,
He's
but-
moving around a lot.
Yes, it's probably better that you guys are forfeiting,
Yeah, right.
and causing a mutiny because we couldn't hit a moving target. But anyway, that arrow scene's ridiculous for 1957. And then the one that gets them through the throat was just like, oh, pretty
They went
good.
for it. Nice job,
Pretty good.
Akira.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this movie.
It's great.
Yeah.
And a very good adaptation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Pretty
I would say
straightforward.
the shift of like or country of origin and time is like it works so well
Yep.
for the story that. Although I mean, I think the actual story of Macbeth probably is around the same time that it actually takes place in
True.
Throne of
Yeah.
Blood. Like
Oh, yeah.
12,
You're probably right.
13th century,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, really fascinating changes.
Really, really good. All right, my number 3 is To Kill a Mockingbird, which we probably don't need to spend too much time on. It's a very famous book and a very famous movie. And it was written by Harper Lee, directed by Robert Mulligan, stars Gregory Peck, and a bunch of other people.
So you wrote the screenplay?
I didn't have that in my notes.
Okay.
I don't think
know.
Harper Lee did.
I meant the book was written by Harper
Yeah,
Lee.
no, I got you.
Okay. Just a classic among classics on both book and movie. I think I've read this 3 times, 2 of which were assigned to me in class as our
I'm about to
earlier
say
note.
this is one of my 9th grade central texts that we would then watch the movie and talk about.
Yeah.
Yep.
I read it in high school, and I think they made me read it in like 8th grade too.
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
it
But I was
So
like,
it's a solid 8th, 9th grade.
was not worried about it because I was like, this book is really good. Awesome. So I've always really liked it. Did not read the sequel. Heard it gets a little.
Well, it's not really a sequel. I mean, it is, but it was basically published probably without permission. Like basically,
Right, because she wrote it a while ago, right? And
Right.
it was released posthumously.
Right. Not really knowing, is this the form that she would really want it? Is this how many drafts are we in? Like, again, I think I think it's very sketchy to release anything
But I also
like
heard
that
they did my guy
posthumously.
Atticus Finch dirty and
Yes.
made him a racist,
Oh.
which is kind of a drag.
Kind of opposite of the first one.
Exactly. That's why everybody's like, ooh, bummer. We didn't need this.
We didn't need that.
Anyway, the movie's great.
It is. It's a really good adaptation.
And
too.
a really good adaptation.
Pretty one of those straightforward.
Probably one of the more one-to-ones that we have talked about so
I
far.
actually looked up some of the differences, and it's not much. They just cut out some of the fluff. They aggregate some of the characters. But other than that, they hit all the main beats, and it's really good. The courtroom scene's amazing.
Yeah.
Gregory Peck is just on an
Incredible.
absolute heater.
Yeah.
And little shout out to our guy, Robert Duvall, who
Yeah,
is going to
Boo
come up in later
Radley.
lists.
Oh.
And
Is he on other stuff that you're going to talk about?
yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And he was his first. I think it was. His
I think
first
it's his first one.
performance.
Yeah, it's his first, at least credited.
Yeah. So good job, Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
Way to pick him.
Still kicking. He's like mid 90s now.
Good for you,
Yeah.
Duvall. Who's
If you're
clearly
listening-
yeah.
You've made 2 of my lists.
Should have made a list of all the people we've shouted out if they're listening.
Anyway, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Anya Taylor-Joy was the last one.
If you haven't seen or read it, I recommend both.
Shout out the jailhouse scene.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A really good one.
That one's intense. Yeah, I would very rarely watch the whole movie because it's hard, So the jailhouse scene usually I would show it.
Got it
Sometimes I
on
would do
Blu-ray
it
if you want,
for the 9th graders I no longer teach.
just for recreation.
And then of course the courtroom scene
Tuesday
would always do it.
Yeah. Really good stuff.
Top tier. All right.
Alex, your number 2 movie.
My number 2 movie is The Green Knight.
Yes.
Came out in 2021, so this is one of the more recent ones. Directed, written, produced, and edited by David Lowery.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So he, this is clearly a passion project for him. I don't really know too much else of what he's done. I know it's not his only movie, but
A movie called George Washington.
He did a Ghost Story in 2017, according to this. And Pete's Dragon. Oh, did he do The Old Man and the Gun with Robert Redford? Heard that movie was good. I haven't seen it yet.
put on the list. But it is an adaptation of the 14th century poem Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Yeah.
Written by Anonymous. More so, our concept of authorship is very different than it was for many centuries. And so this very much, it could be most people don't think it's a monk. A lot of monks get attributed to a lot of medieval and Middle Age writing. But we have no idea who wrote it. Whoever did probably wrote a couple other poems that are kind of, the style is similar enough. So sometimes people call him the Pearl poet. Sometimes it's the Gawain poet. But yeah, 14th century.
And there's
English.
a lot of Arthurian stuff back then that, like,
Yes.
who knows? Could have been
Right.
oral tradition, could have been whatever,
There's a huge also like kind of cross pollination between the like sort of English, Saxon, Arthur stuff, and then the French there's ideas of like chivalric romances and kind of lays it over the Arthur stuff, and that also like Sir Lancelot didn't exist until the French kind of got their hands on.
Normans versus Saxons, Jack.
Yes.
Very Robin Hood coded.
Very Robin Hood coded. But yes, it's about I think it's 10,000 lines, which is long-ish, still able to be read aloud and read in one sitting, I think. But maybe, it's it would be an endeavor.
Yeah.
But yes, what's interesting is that it's written in a dialect of Middle English that is like different. So like Chaucer's, we think pretty contemporary to the Green Knight, but they're 2 different dialects of like, they would understand each other, but reading them side by side, the language looks quite different. It's like forgot what, anyway, doesn't really matter. This is for me because this is one of my favorite things that I studied in grad school for my English degree.
We love passion projects.
But yeah, so it stars Dev Patel in the title role of Gawain, I guess they call him in the movie.
Yeah,
I was
that's
called
what they
Gawain.
say.
I don't know if that's growing up in the South or
Well, that's how
Sir
it's written.
Gawain and the Green Knight.
That's how it's spelled.
right.
I was surprised to see they say
Gawain.
they almost say like Garwin almost a little bit.
Right. That's so I think especially like Middle English sounds a lot closer to Irish, like modern Irish in terms of accent is what people kind of explained. So,
My read on it, if they were saying that in the movie, it's probably historically accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. So first of all, I love the poem. So I kind of went in as someone who was predisposed to love the movie. I think that they do a really one of the biggest shifts is that in the poem, Sir Gawain is kind of the epitome of knighthood.
Yeah.
He's one of Arthur's, most pure, most noble. He's also his nephew and is kind of, I think, reading between the lines, like young when this poem starts. So he's pure, but he's untested. He's untried, which is why this poem is really about him kind of like experiencing the world and also being a little humbled by his own kind of, his own fear in the moment when it counts.
Yeah. Okay.
So in the movie, he's kind of a fuck boy, like pretty immediately. Like it opens with him in a brothel, like
let's get drunk.
missing like Christmas mass because he's hanging out with his favorite sex worker.
Yeah, Vikander.
Played by Alicia Vikander, who also, we'll talk about this in a second, but she plays another role in the movie, which is I think an interesting choice.
She does.
But yeah, so the premise of the movie is of the story itself is like, they're playing a Christmas game. It's a Christmas story. So now's a great time. I guess this is probably going to come out post-Christmas, but I mean, it's really like a winter story.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas to all.
Didn't make our not Christmas movie list.
I know.
Embarrassing.
I watched it the first time this week and I was like, oh, it's a Christmas movie. Let's redo the pod.
Let's do it now.
Don't tempt me.
So, and another thing is that the Welsh and the English and like all these different, they have a lot of green man myths, like men of the woods. So anyway, this green knight shows up at Arthur's court and challenges the knights, you strike me and then in a year I will do the same, like you will receive the same harm essentially that you do from me. And it's supposed to be a game, right? And everyone's he's this giant guy, he comes in with a giant axe, none of this is metaphorical. And all the other knights are kind of like, oh, not for me. And so Sir Gawain jumps in and cuts his head off.
Yeah, bold choice.
Like, so it's like, again, like I'm trying to remember the poem, if like the vibe is like, ooh, buddy, that's not the play. Because that's clearly
that certainly was the movie play.
Movie's like, everyone's like, what? This was a game. Like everything was chill.
Like, just nick him on the wrist,
Right. But
anyway.
He does not. He cuts off his head, and then the giant proceeds to pick up his head and say, see you in a year, bud.
Yeah.
Find me at the Green Chapel.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's a great story. I think the adaptation, what it does well is, first of all, the shift in Gawain's character and making him very kind of weak, very like this like young man who doesn't really know himself. He tells Arthur like, I don't have any story. Like Arthur asks him for a story, he says, I don't have any.
Right.
He doesn't really know who he is yet.
Yeah.
And in some ways, the experiences that he has, they are kind of this like chance for him to prove himself, and he just keeps kind of fucking it up.
Seems to not really care that much about wanting to be a good. I mean, cares about it, but doesn't do it in the right ways, and is never doing all the knighthood stuff that he should be doing when he should be doing it.
He knows he's supposed to care about it, and that's kind of like it. And like, if he was not Arthur's nephew, he clearly like would not be in this life at all.
And he wants to be a knight, but he's like kind of missing the point up until the ending of like putting the cart before the horse a little bit.
100%, yeah. But yeah, I think just first of all, like the atmosphere, like it feels very like it's a very atmospheric, very vibey movie, to borrow the word we keep using.
Yeah,
my bad.
And but I think what I like about it is it is so weird. Like the movie leaned into the weirdness. It leaned into the mysticism. It leaned into like, we're not explaining everything. Nope. You don't need to know why all this stuff is happening. You don't need to know like where these giants are coming from. Like so much is kind of left mysterious. And I think that's where like, I think it's cool. Like poetry has room for that, right? Like if this was based on a novel about this story, the novel would have to
probably
have
be different.
Backstory, kind of exposition. We know about Gawain's parents and all, it's just, there isn't as much room for mystery.
Yeah.
Whereas poetry, I think, can be very much more like kind of paint a picture and not give you all of the answers.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So I think that's why I was drawn to this as not just like a story that I really love and I like what they did with it, but I think the adaptation gets the spirit of not just like the story, but also like the genre of the medium that it's adapting.
Yeah, and felt like kind of like stories being told, around the campfire, like different
These
that were linked together
interlocking,
because he's on one journey, so you're getting a bunch of different tales and stories, which I wasn't familiar with the poem and had no idea what was going to happen in this movie and was very confused. Like from the get-go, like from the Christmas night getting head cut off, I remember like scenes briefly after that, like when he's getting, I was like, I think I know what's going on. But it truly, like they don't hold your hand.
No, they don't.
And a lot of crazy things happen. And it's one of those things that you get to the end, if you're like, don't know if it will wrap together. Maybe not wrap together, but you just don't know where it's going. And when you see the ending and realize that it was all supposed to kind of be, relatively confusing and it's not tied up in a nice bow and like, what the fuck did I just watch? Then I remember getting to the end, like being kind of not sold at a certain point.
Right.
Getting to the ending and then being like, got it.
Got it.
It was supposed to be a crazy ride. I should probably watch it again so I just can enjoy it.
Yeah.
Josh.
Visually incredible too.
Yes, I will say the visuals.
Yeah, you said vibey and atmospheric. It is, the visuals are awesome. And the CGI and things like that and effects are
Especially
well
considering it's a relatively small budget movie.
done.
Right.
A24.
Yeah.
What you got for me?
I didn't really like it. Everything that you say is really cool and about it. For me, I'm not from, Arthurian legend is one of those things that seems like I would be really into and I want to be really into, but I haven't done the work. It's like a hole in my resume,
It's also just a mess. Like I said, there's a lot of different versions of it. There's a lot of,
I think I read one book a while ago. It's called The Once and Future King. I read that. I've done some Wikipedia deep dives. I really would like to be a pseudo expert on this. I'm just not. So I didn't really know the story other than having read it at 2:30 in the morning on Wikipedia 7 years ago or whatever. So it was cool getting into it. Looks great. To me, it was mostly just like a pacing thing. Like it's a really slow movie. And I don't know. It just didn't keep my interest really. That's just, I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
But I was, I looked it up online. And it was like an adventure movie about the whatever. It's not an adventure movie.
No.
It's like an introspective exploration of the soul movie. Which maybe if I had known that going into it, I would have had different expectations.
Different framework.
But I'm thinking Sir Gawain of Arthurian legend adventure movie. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do this. And it was just kind of a slow, vibey movie. I didn't hate it.
Right.
I was just expecting to. I was disappointed that I didn't like it more, I guess is the only thing I'll say about it.
That's fair.
So I'll give it another shot at some point. But yeah, didn't really work for me.
Did you guys enjoy the twist at the end? Not really twist, but like where you think like, oh, I'm watching this guy's the rest of his life play out, and then realizing that oh no, this is all this like vision at the it's kind of like it was a dream the whole time.
It was fine.
I just know that's the kind of thing that like pisses some people off.
It was just, for me, it was like I was almost upset that they were showing me his whole life. I was like, we've taken a long time to get to this point, and now we're rushing through the rest of his life.
Right.
So I actually was kind of like, oh, I see what you did there. It was kind of cool.
Right.
So anyway, it didn't really bother me one way or the other, but it would have bothered me had they not had that and they just like rushed through the ending of this guy's life.
Yeah, and then you see him die.
Yeah, and I was like
cool,
man, tough beat.
Yeah, I kind of don't remember how I felt about it.
That's fair.
I think it's kind of just what I'm saying.
Right?
I saw it a while ago, and I remember the ending throwing me in some sort of way. Endings are big for me,
Yeah.
Like I can be easily swayed or easily like, oh. Now I get it, but now I
see what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Jack, what's your number 2?
My number 2 movie is One Flew Over the Yeah, movie. Yes, adaptation is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, great.
So when you claimed that one, I was like, God damn it! I should have asked
Son
for
of a
that
bitch.
one.
I took a really cool class in high school called Psych Realism, which was like I think the first year it had ever existed at my high school. And it was taught by Mrs. Hawkins, who we called Ma Hawkins, who she didn't like that. So I think we just did it behind closed doors.
Got her again.
But she was great. And we read Silence of the Lambs. We read, which I almost picked, but it was that's a pretty 1-to-1 adaptation. Kind of. We read Damien, which is crazy. We read One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and I had already seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Loved it as a film. Then read the book and like learned about the text and was like, oh, I didn't realize this was like about, kind of what we were talking about earlier, the end of the 60s and just like society,
unraveling. It felt like.
And institutions being totally evil and whatever. So that was a whole other as far as me reading it, the book is also kind of straightforward adaptation, but with a lot more of that stuff in it. Like you get some McMurphy backstory. You get, I think, more of when he leaves, perchance, like when he breaks out. And they get into there's more Chief stuff.
Well, I think Chief is the narrator of the book.
That's what it is.
That's the big perspective shift. Is like,
good job, Alex.
I wouldn't say. Well, I also taught One Through Over Cuckoo's Nest, and then would use the movie. Killer book. So Chief is, even though he is the narrator, it's so clear that McMurphy is the main character. He's like the inciting incident. He's sort of the energizing factor. He's what drives the story. But seeing him through Chief's eyes rather than Chief kind of being, I wouldn't say an afterthought in the movie, but I would not say he's not in the foreground.
Like they use him at the end, of course, but he's not.
He's always
not
kind
a
of in
huge,
scenes, but it's such a huge change. I'd say that's probably the biggest one that I can think of.
There's way more Native American history, and you're right. Yeah.
Won the Big Five at the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
So did
won
Silence.
The Big Five?
Yeah. Actor, actress.
It won in 75?
Yeah. Picture, writing, director.
Wow.
So did Silence of the Lambs. Way to go, Ma Hawkins.
Psych realism for the win.
Way to go.
Shout out Ma Hawkins, if you're a listener of the pod.
The best. Her the next year I took another class that was the first time that it had ever been. It was science fiction.
Sick.
It was awesome.
Sick.
Great. Dune. Thought about doing Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, but
that's Blade Runner?
I couldn't pull out the memory bank on that one.
Yeah.
And I was reading that book like every time I went to class. It was like, "Hey, tell me what the hell I just read." Or it was on Spark Notes probably at the time.
Don't worry, we're going to watch the movie.
It was confusing. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is great. Incredible performances. It is
read it and
watch it. Way funnier all the way through than I remember, and lighthearted, which also might have been a little bit of a change from the book. But you're like getting the characters doing it. You know what I mean?
You also have Jack Nicholson who's got his charisma dialed to 1,000.
Yeah, he's dialed 1,000 for sure. But then like Danny DeVito and Christopher Lloyd are just like
super weird,
creating these great.
Also,
characters.
Grima Wormtongue.
Yes.
What's his name?
He's
Brad
Billy.
Dourif.
Nice, thank you.
Nice.
It's one of his. I think it's his first role.
It might be. I think I saw that.
He's so young.
He's really good. Did he get nominated? He might have got nominated.
Just watching him break down, and right before he, spoilers, commits suicide, is like, whew.
Tough beat.
And he's kind of unraveling throughout that whole. He's keeping it in the whole time, and you just see it bubbling, and you're like, McMurphy this is the last person you should be messing with right now. Like,
yeah. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
And there's so much more with Billy. Like he could be definitely there. Like he's related to Nurse Ratched, right?
I think Nurse Ratched knows and is friends with his mother. That's kind of the constant.
Friends with his mom. They are old friends.
Yes, that's the threat hanging over his head.
But also you got to think is like maybe the catalyst of why he's there, and maybe he wasn't that crazy before he went in there. Yes. And it was just kind of like a bad kid, and they threw him in there.
Yes.
And you're like, oh. This is
he looked
McMurphy.
at a girl too long, and his mom was like, "We got to take care of that real quick."
That's literally what it was. Yeah.
Read it, watch it.
Yep.
It's great.
Ken Kesey wrote the book. Should just say his name once.
just throw that in at the end.
Because it was because it came out, I think, the movie adaptation was very soon after the publication. Like I think it got snapped up very quickly.
Michael Douglas.
Huh.
He produced it.
What?
Oh.
Yeah.
Why?
Kirk Douglas originally had the script and was going to act in it and got too old, I guess, or realized he was too old.
Holy shit, it was
So he
published
gave
in 62.
Oh, 62?
There you go. Well, okay, so that goes with my story then. Kirk Douglas's dad was going to be
McMurphy.
Yes, thank you. And just got too old and couldn't figure it out, and so he's like, "Oh, well, I'll give it to Michael." And then so I'm pretty sure that's Michael Douglas's only Academy Award as the producer for, and he was like 30, you know.
Wow.
He might have an acting award, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's his only one.
Good job, Josh. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Moneyball from 2011, directed by Bennett Miller, screenplay by Steve Zalian and Aaron Sorkin, and it stars Brad Pitt, Jonah Hill, Chris Pratt, Robin Wright, Philip Seymour Hoffman, a bunch of other people. Adapted from the incredible book by Michael Lewis, Moneyball, The Art of Winning the Unfair Game. This is probably one of the best movies of the last 20 years that Jack and I have not even remotely talked about yet.
Also interesting considering your background as a former A's fan.
That's why we have not talked about it.
That is why.
Yes. Yeah, it's too soon.
Yeah. This is a great movie and a great book and a great story, and one that I just have been. If you don't know, you probably do, but Jack and I are big A's fans. I'm probably a little bit more of a big A's fan even than Jack, and they moved out of Oakland, and so it's something that I am still dealing with. In fact, I thought about throwing it on last night, and just to I haven't watched it in years.
Bold.
Yeah. And Becky said the same thing. She's like, do you want to, it was like, well, I have to talk about it. And I started talking about it, and in the 90 seconds I started crying. So this is like this is still like a very deep wound that I haven't really done yet. But it is a great movie and a really good adaptation. I've read the book. It's wonderful. Obviously this is a nonfiction book, by the way.
Yeah. Right. And I think this is our only nonfiction to fiction. Oh, I mean, I know it's not, lightly fictionalized for cinematic interest.
And the book is great, and it deals with the, they leave this part out of it. It deals with the draft, I think, of 2000, whatever, the Nick Swisher draft, which is like 2001, 2000, I don't remember. And then also deals with putting on the team. Again, my years are a little bit off, either 2001 or 2002, but the year that Jason Giambi, their star first baseman, left for the New York Yankees, and how do we replace him? And it's a really good book, and they talk about all this stuff. And basically, the premise is the A's have X amount of dollars, which is significantly less than all the rest of the teams, which is a little bit, hyperbolized, but they had very little money to deal with, and so they had to figure out how to get baseball players in a different way, and so they used different statistics to find different players that could fill the roles and hopefully aggregate the loss of their big star players that they lost every year, which is something they did for 20 years after this movie too. But it was a really interesting book. It's a wonderful movie, and it leaves off some very convenient facts about the movie, about what actually happened. Mainly, yes, they did have to find Scott Hatterberg. They did have to hire David Justice and got him in a trade, who was like well past his prime. That stuff is all true. But what they don't tell you is that they also had one of the best 3 pitcher tandem almost in history with Barry Zito and Mark Mulder and Tim Hudson. They didn't tell you that they still had Eric Chavez and Miguel Tejada, who later won an MVP. They didn't mention...
Right. But they all came up relatively with the A's and were relatively young, and then all went on to have... I mean, not all of them, but went on to have bigger careers. But at that point,
they were like established young stars, and the movie conveniently doesn't mention
Glosses
that
over.
They're just saying, oh, we just found these guys off the scrap heap, which they did. But
they
also had a really good team, but they did lose their best player. So that's really the main difference. And, I wasn't in the room, so I don't know if the conversations are true, but has a great Brad Pitt performance. For my money, probably my favorite Brad Pitt performance at the center of the movie. Has great Aaron Sorkin dialogue, which really lends well to the trading scenes.
Yeah,
totally.
And it has a great Jonah Hill performance in what had to be one of his first sort of switches to a more serious role, and I'm fairly certain he got nominated for it.
It's my first memory of him in a non-comedic role.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's just a great movie, and one that I cannot watch anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and a big part of that is they do a really good job of tugging at the heartstrings of that movie, which is a big reason why it works, because you really are just like watching people talk about
Baseball.
like baseball the whole time, but they're doing it in, as only Aaron Sorkin can, where you're somehow understanding it or captured. And then at the end of the movie, they, they fly the plane.
I had that in my notes of how they make all this weird baseball malarkey and nerdy stuff very accessible to a mass audience.
Yeah.
Because they could go down in a lot of on base percentage, stat conversations, and they don't. They just
right.
They make it very smooth. And it is kind of like a little bit of a bittersweet ending. I remember we were talking to Wendy Quickle.
Very much like A's
yes,
fandom.
It's very, very
Speaking
apropos.
of adaptations.
I remember we were talking to Wendy Quickle, who was a former coworker and a good friend of ours, and she was like, "Oh, I watched Moneyball," and we were like, "Oh, cool." She's like, "Isn't it sad at the ending?" We were like, "Yeah, it is. They didn't win." She's like, "No, it was sad because he didn't go to the Red Sox." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We're not fucking Red Sox fans. That's not why it's sad." I couldn't believe it. I was like, "You consider your audience when you're saying all this stuff about the fucking Red Sox."
Not sure we're supposed to feel that way either.
Yeah. Wendy, we love you. I will never forget that conversation.
Seared in his brain.
Yeah.
Living rent free.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a great movie, and I want to get off the mic before I start crying.
Cool.
So
You did a good job there, Josh.
Kept it really together.
thank you. Alex, what's your number one movie?
My number one movie, Howl's Moving Castle.
Hell yes.
So, Howl's Moving Castle, a Japanese animated fantasy film written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki and animated by Studio Ghibli. Probably one of the most famous animation studios
Ever.
I would say, ever. Out of Japan, certainly. Very beloved. Anyone listening who hasn't watched a Studio Ghibli film, please press pause.
Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, actually, just reach out. I will help you. But it is adapted from a novel by the same name, written by Diana Wynne Jones and published in 1986.
I actually didn't know this.
This I did not know. This.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was really having trouble remembering if I read the book first or saw the movie, because the movie comes out in 2004, which for me would have been 8th, 9th grade. And that was when I was in I've always been a big fantasy reader, but it is very likely that I encountered the book before. I just can't remember exactly which one I did first.
Yeah.
So the book, I would say, is a very straightforward fantasy book that is riffing off of kind of fairy tales. It's a big thing that Sophie, the main character, is the eldest of three. She kind of like in the first chapter is like, I know I'm never going to be successful at anything because I'm the oldest of three. Any family of three, especially three daughters, the youngest is the beautiful one, the one who has the adventures, the one who marries the prince. The oldest is the one who stays home and takes care of things and very oldest child, chip on the shoulder, which I was like, as the oldest myself, I see you. The kind of essential story is that Howl is the sorcerer who's sort of haunting around the town where Sophie lives. She is transformed into an elderly woman by the vindictive Witch of the Waste. And so she goes to Howl to see if he can help her lift her curse.
Right.
Again, the novel, there's a lot more kind of weird stuff. Like in the book, Howl is actually from Wales. Wales. Like Sophie follows him to Wales, and like his nephew is like playing a video game, and he's like this wastrel younger brother who like can't keep a job, but it's because he's like popping into this, he can basically travel between worlds. He's learned how to do magic in one. He's sort of keeping a foot in the door in our world, which is a big theme in Jones's. She has a whole series about this famous magician who can move through a lot of different worlds. Honestly, she also has a great I can't remember the name of this series, but it's like kind of a magical school. So if you're like looking for magical school alternatives, if you're like not sure if you want your kids to get into Harry Potter for transphobic reasons, for most of us that ship has sailed, but Diana Wynne Jones also has some phenomenal, very accessible young adult books.
Very cool. We're always looking for books to get Lily because she reads them in about an hour and a half.
Yes.
Is the novel like YA? Like
yes, I would say it's young. It's kind of weird. I can have a whole soapbox about this. It's YA before the YA-ification.
Right,
YA,
86 is
where it's like this is clearly written with young people in mind, but young adults is not really a genre yet.
Right.
So it's a much broader, kind of messier,
challenging possibly for.
This is one of Lily's favorite movies.
Has she read the book?
Good.
She has not. I don't think.
Shocking.
Yeah.
It is. There are some big story differences. I would say one of the biggest differences is like there's a lot of tonal. Like so, like the book is very like English. It's very British, very like British conventions, very British kind of fantasy. You know, if you've read any British fantasy from like the 60s and 70s, she's clearly kind of riffing off of that.
Yeah.
You know, if you've read like the Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe,
Yeah.
you're gonna see some some
Yeah.
cross over that. And the movie is very much through like even though the kind of the aesthetic I would say is still very European.
Yeah.
Sure.
Still feels
It's like
very
a little steampunky.
almost a little
Yeah.
steampunk, for sure, especially the castle. That it's still kind of filtered through Miyazaki. I mean, I think of him as an auteur. He's someone who, like, because of his like
yes.
high levels of control of the story and the animation and all that, he has this like sensibility that kind of comes through all of where he has these. Like there is a war that's happening kind of in the background, and it is sort of a plot
The movie
point.
feels pretty English.
Yeah.
You know, still, but it doesn't. It's like in some other fantasy world.
Yeah.
Or is it? Is it like set anywhere specific?
I don't think so. We're just like, okay, magic is a thing here. No one's surprised that there's witches and wizards who can do things. Yeah, but like the war is way more of a presence in the movie than it is in the book, and this is part of like Miyazaki's very anti-war. He's very concerned about war and its effects on the environment and its effects on humanity. So he kind of pulls that to the front a lot. Yeah, so I would say for me, the reason I put this number one is obviously I feel very strongly that these are both incredible works of art. But also I think this is sort of my platonic ideal of an adaptation. Where you really kind of capture where the characters to me feel very similar to how they are in the book. The way they're characterized, the way that they interact with each other. There's a little bit of some differences. I love like the voice acting, I think brings a lot to understanding the characters. But also it's the interpretation of kind of events, deciding which plot lines to sort of elevate versus which ones to sort of like push to the background, and then just like the visual element of like the magic and how how the architecture works, how they kind of that to me is like this is what like a really good adaptation does. With a really
and they
good
can
book.
because it's animated.
Very well
And I
said.
think,
but it's animated
yes.
by the best.
100%. And this is another soapbox that I will not be on for too long, that animation really gets not enough credit as a cinematic enterprise.
Whoa.
Part of this is like, this is also my grudge against like all these live action adaptations from animated
Oh,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
in
the
a
worst.
safe place there.
which I'm like, I think animation can do something to your suspension of disbelief. Where like things that can happen in an animated world, we will accept much more whole cloth than things that we see that has to be mediated through something like CGI or even like practical effects or things where you're just like, there's like a part of my brain that knows this isn't real.
Yeah.
When it's a fully like animated, completely separate visual world from our own,
You're allowed to let go a little bit.
there's so much more that can be, I think, explored and done, and that animation just does not get the time in the sun, the spotlight that I think it should be getting as a form of cinema.
I feel that.
I do too.
Especially when it's
They should have done Game of-
abstract and different and is singular. You know what I mean? Like
Game of
it's not
Thrones
just
should have
a-
been animated.
Ooh,
You see what I'm saying?
I can see what you're saying.
They fucked up. I almost picked it for this list.
I'm sure you did.
So yeah, I could talk a lot about both these productions. There we go. But yes, I will stop here.
Fantastic. Really good choice. Very, very cool. And beloved in my house.
Yeah, and I did not know that it was a book. And
Neither did I.
I would
The
love
book is
just.
quite
I mean,
good.
is the castle similar?
It's definitely not the kind of, that's definitely a Miyazaki
Okay.
shift. I think it
Good
feels
shift.
more like a magical house.
Does it move?
It does move.
Okay.
Yes,
It's Howl's Moving Castle.
it is in the title.
Yes.
It moves throughout the waste the way it does.
Similarly?
In the I don't think it's not described. She's not as much a visual. She's very
I think
much
maybe
about.
that's what I meant. Like, is
Yes.
it walking around? Because it walks around in there.
It's
You know
pretty
what?
great. Read the book, dude.
Yeah, it's an easy read. It's fun. I made Jason read it.
Oh.
He liked it.
Nice.
So there you go.
Jack, number one.
My number one is Train Dreams.
Train Dreams.
Ooh, so
Entering the
recent.
Little
Very
Women Titanic.
I was actually couldn't remember like how much have we vamped about Train Dreams.
We definitely talked about it a lot. I don't know how much it's been on
Oh,
mic.
okay. Well,
No, not in a bad way.
yeah.
Just in general, we've talked about it. It's fucking great.
Oh, yeah. Between you and I.
So I don't know what has been on Mike and what is not.
True. Well, this is a film directed by, it's from this year, 2025. It's directed by Clint Bentley, written by Clint and his partner, Greg Quidar. I don't know how to say
Sounds
his
good to
name.
me.
Sorry.
Close enough.
But they work together on, they seem to be like a tandem duo of sing, like they both did Sing Sing, but they swapped. Ooh, they might have done different things. Like the other guy directed it and he wrote it. But yeah, they kind of, I think that's like kind of
That's the tandem.
their relationship.
Sing Sing is great.
I really
so
want to
is Train Dreams.
Yeah, Train Dreams is great too.
I saw this, and I believe I kind of have made this point on a previous pod, but if you watch like the trailer, or like anything you might broadly know about it, kind of like one of those movies you look at and you're like, this could just be like long, slow, depressing, and like boring a little bit. And it
is all those things except for boring.
Correct. And I didn't leave wildly depressed or anything. And like it didn't, I mean, it has some tough hang moments, I guess, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's like not a whole lot going on and like very poetically told.
Yeah.
Right.
Very lyrical.
Very lyrical.
There you go.
And it's very impressive how this book being written by Dennis Johnson is very lyrical and very poetic, and you're reading about dudes logging and like sitting around a campfire, and you're just hooked on every single word, even though it's just like you're just hooked on his words. And you know, the scenes he's painting, and a lot of crazy scenes do happen, but for the majority of the time, it's not like crazy action packed. And some of the best moments are just him describing very simple, seemingly maybe mundane things could not be interesting. Similarly, in the movie,
Yes.
you are watching those things with not a lot of dialogue and some narration, which is almost always pulled from the book. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm just so hooked on watching these men like cutting down trees.
That's so okay. So quick follow-up question. So like what do you think is the quality of the film that allows that to be so like is it sort of like the cinematography, like the way the
Yes.
shots are composed?
Yes.
Okay.
The directing is phenomenal. There are some visual feast moments at parts, things that you kind of feel like you've never seen. I mean, you're getting trees falling down, like which you know isn't real, which is another big part of it. Where you're like, how are they filming these trees being cut down? And they did it in a very interesting way, partial CGI, partial crazy prop design, where they brought in like half trees. That were painted, you know, hand painted and like made in a shop. And then they did a lot of it, you know, the top of them CGI.
Yeah, that makes
things
sense.
like that. It was like a good mix of practical and not practical. Yeah, you're kind of just like, yes, cinematography,
Okay.
the directing. It's flowing a lot of the time, and you're going through different eras. They actually kind of, I feel like they cut back in between different eras in the book more. Like you're in the second chapter, you're hearing about his 80th year of life and things like that.
Oh.
And they do a little bit of that in the books. Like you see certain things that happen later in his life, a little bit earlier in the movie, but they do a little bit more of that in the book. But for me, I love being like kind of like thrown around, getting these like kind of little short little moments. And then just seeing him just sitting on a train or something like that. And then you have these really intimate moments between him and his wife, which seems to be a little bit on the back burner in the story. Maybe not on the back burner, but they explore it more in the movie. And
kind of pull it forward.
Maybe cut out some of the weird little things that he sees throughout his life, which is, you know, like, and then when he was 60 years old, he saw the fattest man in the world, weighed 100,000 pounds. Do they do that?
No.
Yeah. So you get all these little like stories too, just being told in succession. And in the book, it's very much about his relationship to his wife and his child. And the tragedies that befall his family.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest thing that's very compelling about this movie is Joel Edgerton. This is a masterwork from him, and he's we said this in a couple other podcasts, but he's a guy that I love seeing show up in movies, but I've never seen him sort of take the reins and star in a really good dramatic movie, and he just has a quietness to him in this movie that's really compelling to watch, and I think he's wonderful, and the characters that he meets along the way are, again, just really memorable, really well drawn out, and you really feel like a inherent connection to the characters, to the family, to the setting. I mean, there's a lot of outdoor shots in this movie, and I feel like it's really connected. This is going to sound like wishy-washy, but like to the earth and to and to time and to it's just, I said this in the last podcast, we talked about it. They do a lot of things that I normally don't like in a movie, or like normally
interesting.
Perk my ear, my alarm bells up with voiceover, with montages. These are kind of like tricks that to kind of similar to what you said earlier in the podcast. I don't remember what exactly we were talking about, but are tricks that can sort of hide otherwise bad storytelling. But they absolutely nail it in this movie, and everything comes together in a very like tight, succinct story, and it's just like, again, we talked about Hamnet in another podcast too. That one didn't totally work for me. I liked the movie, but I didn't like it as much as I thought and wanted to. And maybe that's an expectations thing, because I expected nothing out of Train Dreams other than Jack just texted me, Train Dreams, you should watch it. And I was like, okay. Cool. And so I watched it, and I was just absolutely floored. And everything that didn't work in Hamnet for me, which was, that sounds like I don't like it, but I did, absolutely worked for me in Train Dreams. And it just totally washed over me. Another vibey movie, to use the theme of the episode.
Very much so.
And it's just wonderful. It, I don't know if it's for everybody, but it was just absolutely wonderful. I just loved it.
And I think there's something so satisfying about enjoying or like seeing something or like watching a movie and you're like, this is not something I would normally like.
Yeah.
And having it work for you.
Yeah.
I think that's something really like a cool experience.
Really great. Hope it gets nominated.
I would say that it is kind of maybe what the point I was trying to make when I first started talking, that it is kind of something that I do like, but isn't done well that often.
Yes.
Is done often not well. I guess I should say.
Yeah.
So my guards up. I will just say about the adaptation really fast. It is very similar, like montagey. Mm-hmm. Another like good cross between the movie and the book is very similar in that way. The Grainier, the main character, big differences
in the book,
like
in the
characterization.
Book. Yes.
Interesting.
He, yeah. Well, it's just, yeah.
Fairly new movie. We don't want that. We can
I have
spoil.
not seen it.
I wasn't going to say any big points.
He's going to catch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joel Edgerton being so like, I can't take my eyes off of him. The changes in the book, I feel like it would be different. And I feel like maybe that was why it was on purpose.
Oh, interesting.
Not as necessarily as like Great Family Man.
Let me borrow it.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. My number one, not technically a movie, more of a miniseries. And I've talked about it before. That's right. Movies and other pop culture. It's in the... okay. I've talked about this on the Western podcast. I am choosing Lonesome Dove, which is my favorite piece of fiction ever, period, full stop. So I love it so much. It's directed by Simon Windsor, based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel of the same name by my guy, Larry McMurtry. Just absolutely love him. Love every book I've read from him, except for that one. Ridiculous cast includes Robert Duvall, Tommy Lee Jones, Angelica Houston, Danny Glover, Diane Lane, Chris Cooper, Ricky Schroeder, Glenn Headley, and Barry Corbin, amongst others. This is an award-winning miniseries that came out in like 89, I think. I put that in my notes. Yeah, 89. And I love it from start to finish. They do interesting things. It's a long book.
It's a very long door stopper.
Yeah, even amongst the 8 hours of the miniseries, they still had to cut some stuff out. Most of the stuff they cut out is not really consequential to the movie, or to the miniseries, I should say. And they got all the good stuff in there. There's some dialogue that changes in there that's a little bit better in the book. But what are you going to do? You know, nothing's perfect. It's just absolutely wonderful and has everything I want in a story, which includes action, romance, adventure, horror, comedy.
Definitely.
Some other stuff in there too. It's just wonderful. And the characters are great and the acting performances are great. I love it.
I think this is one for me where, and I have not read the book Lonesome Dove, so I'm kind of coming at it.
For shame.
I'm sorry. Where it seems like from what I've heard from you and from other people is that one of the strengths of the adaptation is just the phenomenal casting. That like they really just bring these characters alive and also bring their own kind of, like, I don't know, energy to or something where it's like it seems like it's a very, like you said, there are some changes, but it's a fairly one-to-one.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of like
minimal changes.
Huge like structural like shifts or like what we've talked about, like different interpretations of the story. It's like, no, this is pretty much.
Yeah. To your point from earlier, they kind of took some things out rather than adding things.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And it seems like the characters are pretty like faithful to the ones in the book, but it does sound like everyone was still like really surprised just how well done these kind of characters, and like, because I mean so much of it is from what I remember from the miniseries, which I've seen once quite a few years ago. The heart of it is the friendship between Duval and Lee's, and I'm sorry I don't know their character names, but Tommy Lee Jones's and Robert
Augustus
Duvall's.
McCrae and Captain Woodrow Call. So
so like their chemistry together was so essential to having this be a successful.
They actually wanted Robert Duvall to play Call, and he was like,
Oh.
"No, I'm actually going to play Augustus McCrae because this is more interesting." And they're like, "Cool, dude. Are you going to sign the contract?" He's like, "Yeah." Then like you can play whoever you want. Sounds great. And then
my job was to get Duvall.
Yeah. And then they kind of filled in everybody else. At the time, Tommy Lee Jones was not a big name actor.
No,
so
yeah, 89.
He's wonderful in the movie, and knowing what he does the rest of his career is like perfect for the part. Danny Glover, wonderful. Angelica Houston, huge star at the time.
So good in this.
And this has like, you're right. The acting performances are all great, and this has like the hugest collection of my favorite, like the most compact collection of my favorite characters of all time. Like, there's probably 6 characters in this movie that would be like my top 50 fiction characters of. I've done the list, of course, but you know, in my mind, that's what it is. It's just I book or show can't say anything bad about it. It's just I just absolutely love it, and very impressive that they were able to do such epic filmmaking for the time on television,
right?
Which is, you know, I mean, there's a couple of dated special effects things, but not very many. There's not much special effects. Most of it's practical, and it looks great. And I know you want to say something. I'm just going to finish this
You're
off.
probably just going to say everything I want to say before I get there. So that's fine.
Maybe. But we talk about this a lot of times where you watch something on Blu-ray that you haven't watched in a long time. We've only watched it on VHS.
Right.
You know, you grow up at home, and that's
Less
how you watch
quality
these
medium.
things. This is something that didn't release in the theaters. So the only way people watched it for years was on a VHS or on television on a square box TV. And it hasn't really been popular in the last, you know, not as popular in the last 15, 20 years. Before, we would grow up and they would play it like once a year.
Time, yeah.
And so you got to see it, but on these crappy TVs. Now you have it on Blu-ray. It fucking looks great. It looks wonderful. So I just want to say that. Jack?
I think it's impressive how, especially for of the time, it's a mini series that, sure, there's action set pieces, romance set pieces all the way through.
Yes.
But it's taking its time.
Yeah.
And it's also doing things that, like, it does like one thing in the first episode. It's not going to come up again until the very last episode.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they plant seeds that, like, really pay off at the end.
Yeah.
But, like, you're like, is this, you know, where are we going with this? I keep getting new characters, and this storyline's going down this whole other road. I don't really know where
Right.
it's going. And then it you know, it pays off. And
that's kind of how he writes too. It's a very I love the way he writes. Just his prose is just really entertaining to me. I have a tough time well, I don't have a tough time. Everybody should read this book. But like I know going in when I'm recommending the book, like it's pretty slow for the first like 200 pages.
yeah, and you can
Right.
say the same thing about the the miniseries.
It's
like
pretty
you could
slow.
recommend this, and then they're gonna put on the first episode. They're gonna be
You're
like,
huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
or at least
But-
you know.
But I enjoy reading all those slow parts because I enjoy the characters,
Yeah.
because I just think they're some of the best written characters ever. And so I have fun with it, and they nail it in the adaptation.
No, and to the point of the actors being great, you know, you want to stick with them for that. You know, you're
Yeah.
like, anytime you might be like, where are we going with this? You're just still like, I can't take my eyes off of all
still
these
in.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of really specific parts of the miniseries, but one thing that has stuck
do.
with me my entire life, I think probably from the first time I saw it in like middle school with my dad, was the kid falling in the river and coming up with a bunch of snakes.
Which is
Water moccasins.
Which is the end of episode 1. So
Yes.
you're hooked at that point.
Yeah. And I just like have like this, just like it's a picture burned into my brain of just like, well, that might be the most awful way to
terrible-
die,
yeah,
like
right,
up there.
I remember that too, because it's the end of the first episode, like Jack says, and they freeze frame
Yes,
it right at
on
the
his
end.
face.
So I've definitely seen that, and I will never forget that. And when I
Crazy use of freeze frame.
yeah.
Crazy.
stop
The
him.
freeze frame.
Just in case you
80s
get
are
it.
wild for that one.
Yeah, and I watched it with the kids more than once, and I have to let them know, just so you know, this dude's gonna get bit in the face right here by a bunch of
Snakes
snakes. I'm trying to remember the character's name. Alan O'Brien.
Let's say he's an Irish kid. I remember that.
He is an Irish
Oh,
kid.
an Irish guy.
Alan might be the older brother.
He's
Go
an-
on, we're good. It doesn't matter.
Okay, something O'Brien.
we will be fact checking later.
Could be Alan. Might not be. Anyway, Lonesome Dove. Read it. Watch it. It's long. It's worth it.
Yes.
We did it.
We did it.
We're here.
That
just
one,
a,
that
just
one,
a shade under a week, too.
Man,
I didn't realize this podcast was going to be that long, but I'm having a good time.
I had a moment, honestly, this week where I was like, 5 each. My brother and I do this with just 5 each, just the two of us, and they end up.
Well,
being
but we did
pretty
it with
long.
Adam, and we burned right through it.
Which one did we do with Adam? Oh, the all in one day.
all in
All in one day, yeah.
Yeah,
we-
true.
You
That we went
you
for.
invited a yapper to the party.
But we had two texts to talk about.
That's
for every,
it, yeah. We're
every
really-
time. We
we
had to talk
talked-
about the book and the movie.
We talked
every
about
time.
30 pieces
Or
of
else we
art.
were going to just sound like we didn't know what the hell we were talking about.
I'm going to cut out like 40% of this, and people aren't going to be like, oh, it's only an hour and a half. What are they talking about? Just kidding. I've had a blast. Alex, thanks for coming.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much
Alex.
for having me. This
Well-
has been so fun.
It has been.
Once we get caught up on all our Fast and Furious movies, we'll invite you back.
Oh my God,
or for
please.
really whatever you want.
Yeah.
Only if you want another 3-hour podcast.
Don't well, it might have to be. There's 1,000 of those movies.
True.
We'll do a 2-parter. This might be a 2-parter.
I don't
Probably
know how
not.
the math of that works.
Only
though.
time will tell.
What'd you say?
I said only time will tell.
Oh, I thought you said only cocktail. Are we going back to Tom Cruise movies?
Bring it back, Tom.
That's a good one.
I like cocktail.
Cocktail's really good.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, Alex.
Thank you for having me.
Jack, thanks as always.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for listening, everyone.
And if you want to reach out, thelonglistpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.